been there and done it. We were having a chat, weren't we? I can't actually remember him playing for Sunderland, but he had a couple of years. They didn't play too many games, but that experience of playing week in, week out, you know you can rely on somebody like George Dobson because he's going to be fit every single week, barring a horrible injury, which we hope that he doesn't get. But having him just sitting in front of that back line as well, the experience that he brings to those quality players, as we keep touching on there, in the forward positions, it doesn't half help.
Where do you see these two being come the end of the season, Mickey? Because, again, we've seen Wycombe, who are kind of old hands at this stage of the season, and they find themselves at the top of the table. We've seen all the money that Birmingham City have spent in League One, and they find themselves second in the table. I mean, it would be quite remarkable and almost unprecedented if these two were to potentially both get themselves promoted again, wouldn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I think playoffs is respectable. The first season in League One, I think you look at Wycombe, speaking to somebody from Stockport, they said they were the best side that's been to Edgeley Park in this division. They said they bullied them, they were outpaced them, they beat them in every aspect of the game. I was at Birmingham, 2 Saturdays ago. The build-up play, absolutely fantastic. And if you spend that amount of money on centre forwards, and I'm talking about Birmingham here, you expect to be in the top 2 throughout the whole of the season. So if you can finish there or thereabouts and maybe be competitive against those two sides, I think that's realistic for these two teams that are in front of us this afternoon.
And like you say as well, we were just chatting about the future of Stockport, and in terms of development, we've gone from a club that was ailing and falling away to a club that's now on the field resurgent, but also they're looking to be a bit resurgent off the field as well.
No, absolutely. Look, when you come here and you see the changes, Adam, from years ago, look, we were saying they used to play on a Friday so they would get people to come and watch Stockport when Man United or Manchester City were playing at home. Playing on a Saturday, being the main team in this town or this city, if you like, and you see all the seats are full every single week. They're extending the stadium. Mark is on board, the owner. The manager's on board. The supporters are now coming here every other week, and they're absolutely loving what they see. And that's why I say they can keep going. They can jump into the championship. It's going to be hard, but every single step they've achieved, they've deserved it.
It's one of those very tight tunnels here at Edgeley Park where you require the away team to walk out first. There's not enough room for the two of you to make your way down there, and that's exactly what's happened. James McLean is leading out his Wrexham side alongside our referee for this afternoon, Mr. Tom Kirk. They're in the red and the white as ever, the Dragons, and it's Stockport who are in their blue and white as ever. It's almost your perfect 𝙀𝑰𝘿𝑰𝘊 lineup down in front of us as the two teams come in front of the main stand here. We've got the railway end away to our left-hand side. That's the open stand here, where if there is a bit of drizzle in the air, there'll be a few wet supporters for sure. The 800 Wrexham fans are right opposite on that far side in the corner of the family stand. They've packed out what they could manage today. Just 800 are here, of course. Plenty of police in attendance as well. Not that I'm sure they're expecting too much trouble. But we are in League One. We're packed in like sardines in this Edgeley Park press box. But it is wonderful here on TalkSport 2 to bring you down into League One for what should be a cracking encounter. Let's remind you of the two teams then that we brought you a little bit earlier on. For Stockport, Ben Hinchcliffe is in goal. Across the back, it's Connolly, Horsfall and Pye. They have the three centre-halves. The wing-backs are Southam Hales and Rydell, with Norwood and Bate in the centre. And then it's Collar, Wootton and Barry who will lead the line for Stockport today. Aliofe, Fevrier, Fiorini, Bailey and Adaramola alongside Addy and Hughes are amongst the substitutes for Stockport County today. As for Wrexham, Callum Burton makes his first league appearance for the club. He's in goal. The back three for them is Cleworth, Scarr and O'Connor. The two wing backs are Barnett and McLean, although we expect them probably to play more as full-backs and more of a five, with Cannon, Dobson and Lee in central midfield. And then it's Palmer and Daddy Bodvarsson who are up top, with Paul Mullin amongst the substitutes today for Wrexham, that being one of the two significant changes they have made. Both look full of confidence, and an opportunity for both, with Birmingham City not in action and Wycombe not in action as well, an opportunity to close in on those top two.
No, absolutely, yeah. And I think you always like to send that message out, don't you? Because eyes will be on this game and ears will be on this game today, Adam, won't they? Because they know that these two sides are a threat in this division. and they'll be looking at, can Stockport get a big result against Wrexham, which they've done in the past, playing in front of their home supporters. They've got to try and use that advantage. Whereas Wrexham, we've talked about their away form this season, not scoring enough goals. Paul Mullen not in the starting 11. So it's an opportunity for 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube. If he does do well here today, then he gets his chance moving forward in the next couple of weeks. So I think, the managers are being in that dressing room to say, look, this sends a message to the rest of the division, and it sends a message to those sides who are just above us.
We will keep you up to date with the rest of the games from League One and League Two, plus also those earlier kickoffs in the WSL. Brighton snatching a late goal against West Ham United. Frank Kirby with that to make it Brighton 3, West Ham United winning 2. And of course the North London derby, which is over on Talksport right now. It's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Arsenal 2. Really bright start for the Gunners in that game. We are off and running then, and it's going to be Wrexham kicking from left to right in the opening 45 minutes here at a buoyant Edgeley Park. The drummer away to our right-hand side is already beating hard. It's Wrexham who have the early possession here with 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube, who goes back towards Dan Scarr in the heart of that. 3 centre-halves for Wrexham, and a long ball punted forward this time by O'Connor in towards the edge of the penalty area where Palmer's there, and the potential overhead that time from 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube didn't really make decent contact with it, but I think we've already seen what the plan's going to be from Wrexham with Palmer winning that first knockdown.
Yeah, we certainly are. We talked about both sides maybe being a little bit more direct than they are on a weekly basis, and I could not believe the setup of Wrexham. I mean, I touched on James McLean saying that he probably sticks in his own half. He was actually the furthest player forward, but that diagonal ball into the box. Mentioned the 2 big men up front, 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube and Palmer, intertwining with the passing there. Yes, bit audacious, the overhead kick, but why not?
Ball over the top here for 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube to try and get onto. It's run on too nicely down this right-hand side that time by Dobson, who tried to get forward. Now support out wide on this right-hand side comes from Cannon. Cannon gets it back towards 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube, who loads it in towards the edge of the penalty area. 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube goes up to try and win the header, and it's cleared away by Southam Hales on that right-hand side. It has to be won by Dan Scarr, and it's picked up on that far touchline at the feet of Tom O'Connor for Wrexham as they go forward again down that left-hand touchline. McLean on that far side, just keeping the ball quite nicely here, Phil Parkinson's side early on in this game. We haven't even been playing for 2 minutes yet, but Stockport finding it quite difficult just to get a foot on the ball so far. There's that direct ball from the back, offered up by Dan Scarr, and McLean's gone down on the far side, and that's the first real challenge of the game, and could well be the first yellow card of the game inside the opening 2 minutes.
Yes, it looked that way, didn't it, as the build-up was happening there, Adam. And Southam Hales is the guy who's picked up the yellow card. Look, I have to feel for him a little bit. I don't think he's seen the run of James McLean on the left-hand side of him. It was that little flick on, wasn't it, from Ollie Palmer? We've talked about that diagonal long ball. McLean made that run on the outside as Southam Hales was trying to just keep his eye on the ball. He made contact with McLean. This is a dangerous area. The corner of the 18-yard box. He's now on a yellow card. You look at the physicality that Wrexham have got. Set pieces could be key today.
Max 𝙀𝑻𝑎FCYoutube is going to be the one to deliver this ball into the penalty area. No, in fact, he's gone inside the penalty area. Well, look who sees deliver that. It could be Dan Scarr, maybe. Here comes the free kick from that far side. It's going to be on the left foot. It's off the angle of the penalty area, left-hand side of the box. In fact, Tom O'Connor is going to be the one to deliver it. Here it comes on that far side. Plenty of red shirts forward. It's one towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Good header away that time by Horsfall. It was powerful, and it's out about 25 yards out from goal. Ball lifted wide to that left-hand side. Bit of a problem there maybe for Lewis Bate, who's limping, but they've picked up possession midway inside their own half with Louis Barry here, Stockport. And now away on that right-hand side again is Southam Hales, the player who's just been yellow carded. And James McLean, well, it's a familiar challenge from him. It's hard, it's strong, and he concedes the throw on that far side.
Well, we're in for an absolute cracker, aren't we?
Barnet have equalised. Idris Kanu with the equaliser there. So 1 apiece after 4 minutes. And Barrow trail at home against AFC Wimbledon. Joe Pigott, the goal scorer for Wimbledon. Foul on this near side. 𝙀𝑰𝘿𝑰𝘊's gone clattering into the advertising hoardings just down below us here. And another talking to and a potential card maybe could be coming here for Stockport County.
Yeah, it's Fraser Horsfall. He's the guy who's going across to the referee, Thomas Kirk, right now. He knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't time his challenge as he wanted to, the big centre-half. And I think he is actually going to pick up the yellow card, or is he just having a word with him now, the referee? Yes, he is. I mean, this is the last thing that they need, Stockport County. They're trying to settle themselves down, Adam. And, you know, Fraser Horsfall has just gone to ground there on 𝙀𝑰𝘿𝑰𝘊. He's nearly kicked him into the stands, let's be brutally honest with you. And I know playing in this league, you do get away with a little bit more, I have to say that. But time your challenge is better. But I think that all falls down to the start that Stockport have made. They've been a little bit scrappy, and Wrexham certainly look at it.
2 yellow cards in the opening 4.5 minutes for Stockport County, potentially setting the tone for this game. Here's the free kick from this right-hand side again. This time Elliot Lee has it. Midway inside the Stockport half for Wrexham. Right-footed, good ball in it. Finds the head of McLean, but it's just a cushion header in the end that goes safely into the arms of Ben Hinchcliffe, who immediately sets Louis Barry away. Louis Barry towards the edge of the penalty area. Good challenge in the end, that time from Dan Scar, who got back, and a chance to clear now for Wrexham.
And there's that directness again. You know, both sides are trying it, aren't they? Because I was a bit surprised when I saw the lineup. Louis Barry now drifting over to this left-hand side. I like to see him playing a little bit closer to Kyle Wootton through the middle. But he's got that pace. But what a challenge from Dan Sky. He had to time it right. He did so. You could hear the Stockport fans, you know, they were claiming a free kick, but it wasn't. It was a great time challenge.
Well, he and George Dobson were the two players who had managed to get themselves back. Elsewhere in League One, Cambridge United lead Barnsley by 1-0. Barnsley, of course, with an opportunity in the higher reaches to get a good 3 points on the board today against lowly Cambridge United. But it's Cambridge United who are in front early on in that game. Goals going in elsewhere in League One and League Two this afternoon. Nothing yet here at Edgeley Park, as we've almost played 7 minutes. And it's a free kick that's gone Stockport County's way, as you can tell by the supporters around us, because I think that's probably the first one they've had in this game so far.
Yeah, Callum Colmley, I think the player going to ground there, just obviously trying to clear his lines. And I think, again, Ollie Palmer, who looks like he's going to be involved in everything for Wrexham today. He's so physical. He's got that physical presence. Just timed his challenge wrong. Both of feet were off the ground. No malice in it whatsoever. It was the right call, just a free kick. I don't want to see the referee keep giving out silly yellow cards willy-nilly. It's going to be a physical game, this.
Pye finds Norwood. Norwood out wide to that right-hand side for Stockport County. They advance inside Wrexham territory. And it was Callum Connolly on that far side looking to try and win the throw, which he does, which they'll take from midway inside the Wrexham half. Taken short to Lewis Bate, and his pass is straight into touch. And Bate looks a little frustrated, headband on, small diminutive figure. Always looks really busy in that midfield, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's such a good player. He's got that cultured left foot. I think that's the first time I've ever seen him give the ball away, Adam. I've got to be completely honest with you. He's a player I really like. You know, he knows his position. He dictates when Stockport find themselves on top. Everything seems to go through him in that midfield area. But a bit of a surprise he give the ball away.
Max 𝙀𝑰𝘿𝑰𝘊 just clearing the ball out of Edgeley Park on that far side to concede another throw for Stockport County just over the Wrexham halfway line. They go back inside their own half to gather territory. 8.5 minutes played. You're listening to TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. And I think it's fair to say this is a proper game of football so far in League One, where it remains Stockport County 0, Wrexham 0. Elsewhere, MK Dons 0, Cheltenham Town 1. Luke Young, the goal scorer for Cheltenham. So plenty of goals early doors across the other games in League One and League Two this afternoon. And of course, we'll keep you abreast of the goals in the WSL, in particular that North London derby. And a reminder, Chelsea against Man City. Huge clash at the top of the WSL is live here on TalkSport 2 from 5:30 this afternoon. Here's Ethan Pye back in the starting 11 and doing well. Pye continues his run inside the box. It was a really delicate little 1-2 that time that come off really nicely with Ryan Rydell. But then inside the box, he just couldn't quite win possession. And he wanted a foul there, did Horsfall, but the referee, Tom Kirk, who's going to have his hands full today, just waves that one away. And in the end, it's gone into touch for a throw to Stockport County, midway inside their own half.
Well, very close from Ethan Pye. Brilliant play, I have to say. A couple of little 1-2s, the little give and go. And he used his body really well. But again, Dan Scott, right place at the right time. Timing his defensive challenge to perfection. It really was. Cleared his lines excellently. But then what happens is they get themselves on the break. It's an end-to-end game of football. I was expecting a lot more physicality, a lot more long balls. But they're getting the ball down. They're being patient. They're holding on to the ball, waiting for their opportunities, albeit we've not really had that clear-cut chance in the game yet, Adam, have we? But it's a matter of time before it comes.
Well, Pye's attempted ball down this left-hand side is blocked out by Andrew Cannon, and that goes straight into touch for a throw to Stockport County. Cannon, formerly of Hull, of course. He is a player who is a regular in this starting 11 for Wrexham. Got a few injuries at the moment. Marriott, of course, one of those players who's missing currently, as that's hooked away on this near side, quite cleverly forward by Ryan Barnett, who scored the winning goal against Mansfield last weekend. Hacked clear by Wrexham from the edge of their own penalty area by Cleworth again on this occasion. Stockport get it down and try and play it forward on this near side, trying to pick out Rydell, and that's a ball over the top for Palmer to try and chase, and he forces the keeper into action. That's drilled vaguely in our direction. For a moment, Mickey, I was expecting you to get up and nod that one.
I was half out my seat there. I was just about to chest that one down.
Throw down this right-hand side, which Ryan Barnett will take for Wrexham, midway inside Stockport County's half. We've played 11 minutes here. It's been end-to-end stuff so far. Game not really settled into a pattern. It really is just a real battle between these two sides. Kyle Wooten holds that ball up nicely inside the centre circle. Clip ball down that right-hand side.
Wow.
Oh, and look at the pace there of Southam-Hales. Couldn't get there, but boy, did he have the legs on James McLean on that occasion. It was like Usain Bolt overtaking someone in the 100 metres.
Yeah, this is one of the days and the occasions, Adam, where I'm pleased I'm sat next to you, because that would have looked exactly the same if I was over in that position. But that's what I'm talking about with James McLean. He's got to pick and choose his times when he goes forward. Use his experience, because, look, age catches up with everybody. I don't know if you stayed up last night and watched the Mike Tyson fight. I did. And it's exactly the same in whatever sport you're playing, but you've got to be clever and use your experience.
I couldn't bring myself to do that, Mickey, if I'm really honest with you. Long ball out to try and find Louis Barry on this near side. Right for the ball into the channel. The chase is on here for Bodvarsson, but it's going to safely go through to the keeper, Ben Hinchcliffe, away to our right-hand side. Found himself back in the team after that 5-0 thumping at the hands of Wycombe. Corey Ade is left out now. He's played in midweek in that Football League trophy, and Hinchcliffe has taken over as the number one again. He's been at the club since 2016. Over 200 league appearances to his name, but back in favour once more. Here they come again down the right-hand side, Stockport County. And once more, it's with Southam-Hales with that pace. He got his first start against Bolton in the league last week. Did Southam-Hales, and he's kept his place. And no surprise, really, after that thumping 5-0 victory. Out wide again on that right-hand side for Stockport County once more. Right-footed ball is swung over towards Louis Barry. Couldn't quite find him that time. Ollie Norwood, who delivered the ball in. It's well won in midfield that time and taken down nicely by Ethan Pye. And now down that right-hand side again, it's with Southam-Hales. And now a chance down this left-hand side for Ryan Rydell to get forward for Stockport County. He wants Louis Barry to drop short. Barry instead has gone out wide and has the ball at his feet. Right-footed, plays it to the edge of the penalty area. Lewis Bates there, on once more from Norwood. To the right-hand edge of the box, driven shot that time powerfully by Callum Connolly. That's back into the danger zone. Wooten tries to get there, then tries the overhead at the second attempt, and he puts it wide. Not much of a connection, but the persistence almost paid off for Kyle Wooten that time.
Well, do you know what? The build-up play was absolutely outstanding from Stockport. I think what they try and do is they try and make, when they get the opportunity, to try and make this arc around Wrexham's 18-yard area. So if it's tight down the right-hand side, they know they can come out and switch the play to the left-hand side. They were patient. They eventually got that ball into the box. And when that ball comes to Kyle Wooten, can he make better contact? The first ball that comes into the box, he kind of scuffs it a little bit. Fortunate to get the second opportunity. That's 2 overhead kicks we've seen attempted in this game now from either side. So, yeah, look, it's opening up and you can see the sides are starting to build in confidence.
Chance for Tom O'Connor to do some defending here in the left-back position for Wrexham, and he does. He gets it over halfway and up to try and find that flick on from 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿, but it's well one at the back for Stockport, who are now just beginning to get a foothold in the game and just play some football and have a bit of possession.
They certainly are. You can see the 2 wing-backs are trying to get over that halfway line, but they're patient. You see this build-up play now. It's something that Dave Chandler's had to learn very early in this division, that you cannot go gung-ho from the first whistle. You've got to be patient at times, and that's what Stockport are doing right now.
𝙀𝑺𝙏 goes direct this time to try and find the run of 𝙀𝑺𝙏 down this left-hand side, but it's into the arms of Callum Burton away to our left-hand side in the Wrexham goal. George Miller has given Cheltenham Town a 2-0 advantage at MK Dons, and it's a good afternoon so far for Swindon Town. Harry Smith, the goal scorer. Accrington Stanley 0, Swindon Town 1. Ian Holloway. Swindon, of course, off to a good start this afternoon. As an offside flag goes up here against Kyle Wootton, and that's going to be a free kick from about 15 yards inside their own half for Wrexham. It is the international break, of course. England on the back of a terrific performance on Thursday night live over on TalkSport. That 3-0 victory in Greece. They'll play again tomorrow, 5 o'clock, the kickoff time at Wembley. We'll have all the build-up and, of course, live commentary on TalkSport tomorrow afternoon as England take on the Republic of Ireland. Andy Townsend alongside Stuart Pearce, Jim Proudfoot for that one, of course. Adrian Durham will be in the chair as ever. Here come Wrexham down this right-hand side. Early ball in this time. Right-footed from Ryan Barnett to that far side. It's gone all the way out to McLean. You can probably tell because everywhere he goes, he gets booed. Ball into the box by Palmer, who can't control it. And it's safely in the hands of Hinchcliffe away to our right-hand side.
Well, I've got to say, Ryan Bennett has just put an absolute corker of a ball in towards that 6-yard area. I'm just looking where Ollie Palmer was. If he'd have been in any position around the penalty spot, his eyes would have lit up thinking, my goodness, what a chance I've got to open the scoring today. And this is what we're talking about. Stockport have been dominant over the last 3 or 4 minutes. Then Wrexham come back into the game. It's end-to-end. And as you said, both sides are getting a stranglehold in the game, but there's no dominance throughout a phase of 5 to 10 minutes, Adam.
Yeah, it was a good bit of quality into the box, one of the first we've seen, but no one on the end of it for Wrexham. Here comes Stockport again. 17 minutes played on TalkSport 2. It remains Stockport 0, Wrexham 0. Back inside for 𝙀𝑺𝙏. 𝙀𝑺𝙏 then will just feed the ball to the experienced Ollie Norwood, of course. Let go by Sheffield United at the end of last season, but the drop down to League One and to Stockport suited him quite nicely, did Ollie Norwood. Remember, he played over 200 league appearances for Sheffield United. A real bit of quality for the to pick up.
Yeah, huge experience. Somebody that, when he walks through the door, certainly at Stockport, he earns respect. He's been there, he's seen it, he's done it all. And I think we're talking about the build-up, these two sides. That's who they can attract to these clubs now, that type of quality. And they're only going to get better, the players.
Lovely ball by Norwood, this time out to 𝙀𝑺𝙏 on this left-hand touchline for Stockport County. He's probably about 35 yards out from goal, but they work it back to halfway where it's Horsfall who picks it up again. Reminder, a couple of yellow cards to Stockport in the opening exchanges here. Southam Hales and Horsfall both walking a line for the rest of this game with referee Tom Kirk. He has settled down considerably. There's Bates. Bates clips the ball through in a rush because he was closed down immediately then by Elliot Lee in that midfield. And it's safely through to Burton away to the left in the front of that open railway end stand, which is packed out with Stockport County supporters. The Wrexham fans on that far side all stood up, as the way supporters tend to do nowadays, as that's flicked comfortably backwards by Horsfall and away to Hinchcliffe on our right-hand side.
Little mention for Callum Burton as well, Adam. Coming into the first team at Wrexham in that goal. He's not really had a lot to do in the game yet, has he? Not first-team league football, if you like, for Wrexham. He's not been here a long time. Big call today, wasn't it? I mean, he's obviously been forced to make that change, Phil Parkinson. But if I'm Stockport, I'm thinking, right, okay, new goalkeeper, making his debut. Let's put a lot of pressure on him. Get that ball in the box. Let's see if he's really up for the challenge. They've not really asked too many questions yet.
No, Arthur Okonkwo, of course, who was on loan last season, signed from Arsenal in the summer out through injury. Means we've got 38-year-old Mark Howard on the substitutes bench for Wrexham today, should there be an issue with Callum Burton, who left Plymouth in the summer. He has played in the League Cup and the Football League Trophy so far this season for Wrexham, but his last League One appearance was back in May 2023. That's a good ball that's won on halfway this time. Bodvarsson then just giving it nicely to Cannon, who goes down, and that's going to be another yellow card. And it's Louis Barry this time that's going in the book. A third yellow card for Stockport County already in this game.
Yeah, and you have to say it's deserved, isn't it? Good play from Wrexham, winning the ball on that halfway line. It's the running off the ball. Andy Cannon's done really well. He just stays his ground, waits for his opportunity to nick the ball back off Louis Barry, who I'm surprised. He's done more defending than attacking in this game. I think they need to play him a little bit further forward. But it's the same old adage, isn't it? A forward player coming back, trying to make a challenge, pulls on the shirt, and rightly so, gets that yellow card. That's 3 yellow cards. I actually thought initially it was Ryan Rydell, and I was just about to say that's 3 of the back 5 on yellow cards. But fortunately for Rydell, it wasn't him in this situation. But Louis Barry, for me, I think he's got to play a little bit further forward, Adam. He's not getting involved in the game the way he wants to.
Elliot Lee with the free kick midway inside the Stockport half, out wide on this right-hand side, about a yard in from the touchline. Floats the ball towards the far edge of the penalty area, and the header in the end came from Dan Scarr, and he puts it well wide of the right-hand post. Plenty of goals going in elsewhere. An equaliser for Barnsley, courtesy of Stephen Humphreys in the game at Cambridge United. Cambridge 1, Barnsley 1. Elsewhere in the National League, Oldham 1, Tamworth 0. James Norwood, the goal scorer for Oldham. I passed the Tamworth coach heading up the M6 this morning on the way into Stockport. Yeah, there's no staying overnight for these National League sides, is there? No doubt about that. Gateshead 1, Aldershot Town 1, and Accrington Stanley have equalised against Swindon Town. So it's Accrington 1, Swindon 1 as well. And you're up to date with the goals as they go in throughout the afternoon here on TalkSport 2, where it remains goalless. Earlier today, of course, Exeter Lincoln played out a 0-0 draw in our first League One commentary of the day. And we're approaching the midway point of the first half here on TalkSport 2. And we're also goalless. Stockport 0, Wrexham 0. But it's Stockport trying to apply the pressure at this moment in time. Given away to Barry on this left-hand side. Infield to Bate. Bate just exchanges passes with Norwood. There is room on that right-hand side for Callum Connolly now to push the ball forward if he chooses to, but instead he goes back into Horsfall inside the centre circle, immediately closed down by Ollie Palmer, but he goes to this left-hand side where Pye is waiting, tries to slide a ball through, but they win it back, and there's a foul there by Bodvarsson, this time on Pye, and it's going to be a free kick for Stockport.
Again, it's the right call. You're always going to get the murmurs and the moans and groans, thinking that every challenge needs to be a yellow card. It doesn't. It was the right call, again, just a foul, but if I'm Phil Parkinson, what I've seen so far in the game, and I talk about the opportunities, we haven't really seen any clear-cut chances. You've got to try and get Bodvarsson. He's got to play closer to Ollie Palmer. If I'm Ollie Palmer, I'm thinking, I'm going to win 9 out of 10 challenges in the air. If you're Bodvarsson, and I know it's not a partnership that they use every single week, but he will get chances. The flick-ons, the knock-ons, centre-half making a mistake because of the physicality of Ollie Palmer. Bodvarsson needs to think to himself, I'm a centre-forward, I need to score goals. If they want to do better in this game, they have to get a little bit closer together.
Now, on paper, it looks like a fairly similar shape and setup here, but there is a very firm back 5 for Wrexham away to our left-hand side, defending that railway end as Pye gets to the edge of the penalty area again. Goes square to Norwood. Lovely bit of skill from Norwood on his right foot. Tees it up. Callum Connolly doesn't go for the shot, goes wide to Southam Hales. Back to Connolly, who's going to load it into the box, which he does. It has to be dealt with at the edge of the 6-yard area. Norwood with a shot. Appeals for handball. That time after, I think it was Dobson who threw himself, but no need for a handball because Louis Barry has scored for Stockport County. They're appealing for the handball, but play continued, and Barry has curled it in. A lovely strike from Barry off the inside of the post. And he's on to 11 for this League One season. Louis Barry on target, and Edgley Park erupts. It's Stockport 1, Wrexham 0.
Well, you talk about a man in form. 5 in his last 6. Full of confidence. The pressure was coming from Stockport. I mean, the strike and the way it got blocked initially was fantastic. But they keep it alive, and You wanted to fall to somebody at the edge of the 18-yard box. Still had a lot of work to do, I have to say, Louis Barry. A couple of little touches to get away from his marker, but the way he just caresses and curls that ball into the top corner past Callum Burton. They talked about putting pressure on this Wrexham goalkeeper. The first shot on target with real intent comes from the top quality of somebody like Louis Barry, and what a finish that was.
Well, that's what that man can do, Louis Barry. An absolute star in the making. On loan, of course, from Aston Villa for a second time at Stockport County. He was a name that sprung to everyone's mind. I remember when Villa had to play the kids against Liverpool in the FA Cup. He scored his first senior goal that day at Villa Park. He's had loans at the likes of Salford, MK Dons, Swindon and Ipswich. But it's a second loan spell here at Stockport County where he's really coming to the fore. His 11th goal in the league this season. And what a beauty it was to separate these two sides. And how will Wrexham respond? Well, they're under pressure again here. And it's Barry again down this left-hand side for Stockport. Edge of the penalty area. Onto his right foot again. Tries to cut inside onto his left. And he then tried to weave outside once more. And there's a foul there just inside the Wrexham half. And it was Ollie Palmer who wanted the foul. But actually, it's been given the other way against him by the referee. Much to the joy of the supporters around us who are still elated after that brilliant strike from Louis Barry.
It was incredible, wasn't it? Fell to the right player. Absolutely super finish. Just had a little glance up at the goalkeeper, didn't he, Callum Burton, and thinking, right, I can curl this past you if I've got enough pace on it. And he starts it outside of the post and it just curls in towards that far post. It's a super finish. But I've got to say, Adam, could have really had a second opportunity after that, just moments ago. Maybe tried to take on one defender too many. If it's on your strong right foot, you see half a yard, get your head down and just get your laces through it. He tried to take on a defender, and I think it was the wrong decision.
26 minutes played at Edgeley Park, and it's Stockport County 1, Wrexham 0. Louis Barry, the goal scorer. Elsewhere, MK Dons 1, Cheltenham Town 2. Alex Gilby, the goal scorer for MK Dons, having gone 2 down early and themselves back in that game. And how do Wrexham react? Stockport County have just been exerting the pressure, and that real quality of Louis Barry shining through once more. That's 6 goals now in 7 league games for Louis Barry. He's in a rich vein of form, and Stockport County profiting from it too. Long ball out to this right-hand side for Wrexham, trying to pick out Ryan Barnett. Couldn't do it. Barry's got the ball at his feet again. Cutting in field. Lovely bit of skill. Gets it forward towards Collar. Collar helps on its way to try and find Kyle Wooten at the edge of the penalty area. They keep it alive on that far side with Southam Hales, who's got the ball at his feet. He finds Norwood. Norwood goes back inside the centre circle. Here's Horsfall. Striding forward. He's got Bate just ahead of him. Goes to the left-hand side to Pye. Pye back inside to Fraser Horsfall, the former Northampton centre-half. Couple of years he's had now at Stockport County as Horsfall. He's got 12 goals in 85 league appearances. Not bad for a centre-half when he's during his time at the Cobblers. Here's Barry in a more central position this time. Rydell's come out to this left-hand side. Short into Bate. Bate, not the best of passes to Rydell, but they do keep possession with Barry again. Onto Bate. Bate now's got room to move inside. Wooten wants it instead. They're going to Connolly. Connolly's thinking about it, but he doesn't go for the shot. He goes wide again to Southam Hales. Back to Connolly. Norwood's inside. They're still building the pressure around the edge of that Wrexham penalty area. Bate. Now it's out wide by Will Collar this time. Now a chance to deliver. Connolly does get it in. Couldn't quite find Southam Hales, who have made the run inside the penalty area. But again, it's only partially cleared for Wrexham. And Stockport will go again with Norwood and Bate. Lovely combination. Collar out to the right-hand side. Connolly's there again. There's blue shirts in the penalty area. Overhit that cross, but it has to be tipped round in the end by Callum Burton in the Wrexham goal, because it could have been heading into the corner. And he had to be on the safe side, which he's done, and it's out for a corner.
Well, the build-up play again. Excellent from Stockport. Callum Burton's probably thinking as that cross is coming into the area, please fly over the top of the crossbar. But credit to him, kept on his toes, knew he had to just tip that over the top of the crossbar. But where they seem to be winning over the last 5-6 minutes, Stockport, is that midfield area. We have not mentioned Dobson, Cannon, Elliot Lee, who's a player I really like, but you think about Norwood and Bate, they're dictating the things for Stockport right now.
Norwood's going to deliver this corner from this left-hand side towards the back post. Appeals for a penalty. Referee's not interested. There are 5 or 6 blue-shirted players all running with their arms out wide. 𝙀𝑰𝘿𝑰𝘊 is having the deep and meaningful conversation with Tom Kirk, but no interest. He was a man last year who gave 11 penalties in his 34 games, but it's not given. He's only given 2 this year so far, but not interested.
Well, I've got to say, Adam, I mean, it's very difficult, isn't it? You know, we're fortunate on a weekly basis. Most of the time, you know, we're watching VAR. You can see that Fraser Horsfall is waving his arms around. I think James McLean makes a little bit of contact with him as the centre-half's just trying to get in behind. And if he does, it's a free header. Experience, yet again, I keep mentioning it from McLean there, just that little nudge. But that's when you need the help from your linesmen. Have they seen contact? I think Wrexham might have just got away with a slight one there.
Linesman on the far side, not in the slightest bit interested. And there are some people who don't think watching VAR every week is a good thing.
No, absolutely.
We must just counter them.
As I mentioned before, when I came here about two weeks ago, I think it was, when they played Red and Stockport, just as a fan, it was brilliant. It was physical. I absolutely loved it. And the game was playing on. The referee was waving everything. I thought, wow, what a throwback this is. Absolutely loved it.
Long ball punted forward this time by Elliot Lee. It's taken down at the back quite comfortably by Callum Connolly.
There's that gap. Sorry, Adam, again. There's that gap, what I'm talking about. Ollie Palmer and Bodvarsson, they have to get closer together. Yeah, he is a nuisance, Ollie Palmer. You know, he's the unsung hero, if you like, the physical guy. When you get that ball up front, as another centre-forward, Bodvarsson alongside him, he has to be thinking to himself, I know what's coming here. There's going to be a little ricochet, and if I'm 2 or 3 yards away from him, I'm in behind everybody, and I'm going to get a free shot and goal. They've hardly had a chance in the game because of that.
Notice as well, you could see Palmer then just encouraging the midfield to come and help the press.
Exactly.
Because they're certainly getting outnumbered in the middle of the park. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
And is that Mickey, the difference in systems here? Because where Wrexham are playing this back 5, whereas this Stockport formation is far more fluid, and they're pushing the wing backs on, it means they're just outnumbering them in the middle.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they're actually set up the same, but it's how you adapt and how you work your system. Can you work it better than the opposition? You look at the 2 wing backs from Stockport. Southam Hales and Rydell, when they get the chance, it just burst them forward. They're like wingers, really. Whereas the way the game started, Wrexham, McLean was on one side and Barnett on the other side. Now they're playing as a flat back 5. They cannot get out because of the dominance in that central midfield area from Stockport.
You know, they seem to be creating a box in the middle there, Stockport, to allow them to control that midfield, and they're doing it with some success at the moment. 32 minutes played here. Stockport County 1, Wrexham 0. You're listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. There's a ball over the top for Collar to chase. Oh, he's kept it in brilliantly. Collar inside the box. Left-footed shot deflected and just wide of the right-hand post of Callum Burton. And again, they're all at sea at the back, Wrexham. It was Tom O'Connor who was trying to let it go out of play, but the persistence of Will Collar managed to keep it in, and he almost fashioned the second goal.
It's fantastic from Will Collar. Tenacious, wanted to keep that ball in play. But did he make the wrong decision? The final decision, he worked it onto his left foot. It was a tight angle, wasn't it? And I think he had Kyle Wotton just waiting in the 6-yard box, 2 yards out, just to pop it into the back of the net.
Norwood with the corner from this left-hand side for Stockport. Goes towards the near post this time. It's comfortably headed away on this occasion. Right-footed ball goes back into the danger zone. It's a good save. The rebound comes out. Brilliant second save as well. And he manages to deny Horsfall from close range. That's excellent goalkeeping from Callum Burton. He made the first save low down to his left. The rebound came to Horsfall from close range. But again, the second save was even better than the first.
Oh, absolutely outstanding. And I think, again, you know, the first header initially came from Will Collar. He had to use his neck muscles to get any kind of power on the cross. And as it skidded off the turf, it made it so difficult for Callum Burton. Super double save, I have to say.
Norwood again swings this one in towards the penalty spot. Horsfall there's again with a header, and this time it's more of a shoulder than a header, and it's safely into the arms of Burton away to our left-hand side. No doubt Mickey Gray, who's on top here.
Yeah, absolutely. Stockport, they're flying at the moment, but you have to take advantage of it. They've got themselves in front, but go and double your lead. Talk about the quality on show and how many opportunities we've seen so far in the game. They are starting to come now for the home side, but whether you're interested in this or not, Adam, the XG for Wrexham, 0.14. I mean, it's poor. Stockport's is even only 0.22. but that's got to improve. Great quality until we get to that final third from both teams.
Become Wrexham on a rare attack, and it has to be dealt with this time by Pye, and it is into touch on this near side. I'm actually growing to like XG because I think it does tell its own story.
Yeah, it does, because so it's a great game what we've got in front of us, but you can only say so many times, look, they need to get better in the final third. Wrexham certainly need to get better in that final third. Stockport are now starting to open up, showing that bit of confidence. We've already seen it with a 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝙊 goal. He's had another opportunity. Will Collar 2 or 3 chances. That XG starts to grow, and that just comes down to that bit of confidence in the final third, but it's the home side who was certainly showing the better advantages right now.
Accrington Stanley have come from behind against Swindon. They lead 2-1 at home this afternoon. Farrend Rawson with the goal. And Bradford lead at Colchester United. Andy Cook on target for Bradford as ever. And on the far side, Wrexham. 1 behind here at Edgeley Park on TalkSport 2. Here's Bate in the middle of the park. He's got Barry in space down the left-hand side. What a wonderful ball to pick out Louis Barry. Level with the penalty spot, left-hand edge, goes towards the byline. Cuts it back on his right foot. Lifted in goalwards that time by Rydell. Didn't really get it off the ground. It was easy to clear. And here's Palmer on halfway. Surely he's going to look for a foul of some description. He does hold the ball up nicely and lays it back to on this near side Barnett, but they've given it away again. And there's a foul there from Palmer once more on Connolly. And the home supporters want a yellow card. Bearing in mind they've had 3 in the first half already and none to date for Wrexham. But again, the referee just waves it away. Not sure Ollie Palmer's on the totting up process just yet.
No, I think Phil Parkinson's got to have a word with his midfield players. They're flat, they're playing as a 3. There's nobody taking that advanced position to maybe get in somebody's face. I mean, Louis Bate, moments ago, he must have had 5-6 seconds to get his head up, play on.
Barry finds Wooten. Wooten trying to play in Barry again. He's done brilliantly, Barry. Holds it in the box. Skips between 2, goes down for a penalty. Referee says no. Waves away. Louis Barry with terrific feet inside the penalty area. Not sure that was a penalty.
No, not for me. Brilliant feet from Louis Barry, but as he made that little chop and turn, I think he was always falling to ground before there was a little bit of contact. No penalty for me, but again, it's worrying for Wrexham because the space he is getting around the edge of that 18-yard box, you need to get tighter to him. Yes, he's wriggly, and it's a nightmare to mark at times because he's got that low centre of gravity, but you've got to know that, you've got to let him know that he's in a game.
On halfway, here's Bate again out wide to this left-hand side. Rydell gets there ahead of Bodvarsson, but all he can do is clip a ball into the arms of Callum Burton away to our left-hand side. Reminder, when we're done here today, we're off to the WSL. Chelsea against Manchester City. By the way, it's 3-0 to Arsenal right now over on TalkSport in the North London derby. Good afternoon for Arsenal. How will Chelsea get on later? Of course, they were titanic struggles between Chelsea and Man City last season, the WSL. We'll have the game live for you from 5:30 here on TalkSport 2 this afternoon. We've just got, 7 minutes remaining of the first half here at Edgeley Park. It remains Stockport 1, Wrexham 0. Cracking League One encounter. Stockport again with a chance to climb up the table with victory today. Currently 24 points. They'd moved to within a point of Wrexham if they were to keep things as is, as that's clipped over the top for Rydell, who's got the other side of the offside trap. Rydell at the byline, holds the ball up. Now he chooses to chip it across. He was looking for Collar, who was arriving. Comes to Norwood on the volley from the edge of the penalty area, and it wasn't too far away from troubling Callum Burton in that Wrexham goal away to our left.
Sorry, Adam, I'm jumping over the top here. I thought we were going to see an incredible moment. I mean, it's Ryan Rydell down the left-hand side. Again, too easy for Stockport to get it behind this back line of Wrexham. He's got so much time. Yes, a little bit of fortune with a little deflection, but that volley from Norwood, he was waiting. It was absolutely brilliant. He waited for it to drop onto his volley. Super striking, great connection. I was just wishing it was going to dip below that crossbar. What an opportunity.
What's more worrying probably for Wrexham is the amount of time he had to line that one up and hit that volley. No one around him at all. Really is men against boys in that midfield at the moment. Well, that's better play by Palmer inside the Wrexham penalty. He held the ball up nicely there, then tried to clip it over his shoulder goalwards towards Bodvarsson, but it was snuffed out in the end for Stockport County. Wrexham just trying to get something going in this game if they can, towards the edge of the penalty area. Away, though, it will come from 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿 on that far side, who clips it long to Wooten up top. He's got 3 red shirts around him, but he still keeps possession nicely. And then Collar goes outside him on the right-hand side. Barry's inside the penalty area. Collar goes early, but he's caught that straight out of play and into touch for a goal kick to Wrexham as we head towards the last 5 minutes of the first half here on TalkSport 2. It remains Stockport 1, Wrexham 0, and here's the thoughts of the former Sunderland fullback Mickey Gray.
Well, I've absolutely loved every single minute of this game, I have to say. Certainly there's no doubt about it. Stockport County are on top and in the ascendancy right now, and I think the only frustrating thing for Dave Challoner is that they've not gone and got the second goal, but it's that dominance in more positions than Wrexham, certainly in that midfield area. You know, they've dominated the 3 in midfield, and that is why they find themselves in advance and on top in this game so far. They've had the better opportunities. I'm quite surprised at what I've seen at Wrexham. I saw them in that Birmingham game. I don't know if you did yourself, Adam, but they come out the traps for the first 15, 20 minutes. And maybe it's something that Phil Parkinson's learned, because I thought they ran out of steam in that game. They give everything in the first 25 to 30 minutes. But now they've been a bit more patient. But you can see what's working for them. That long diagonal ball up to Ollie Palmer. Why they haven't done it more is really bothering me. They have to do it, because that's what's going to work for them today. Stockport have been patient, playing some nice football, and they've got their just rewards with an absolutely outstanding goal from an outstanding player.
Forward this time comes Max Cleworth for Wrexham. Inside the centre circle, just spins and delivers it back inside his own half. Wide on that left-hand side is O'Connor, and McLean combining quite nicely with the help of Elliott Lee. And the first time in a while, Wrexham just keeping the ball here. Happy to have some time with it at their feet inside their own half. And now they try to go forward with McLean, who's forced back under the pressure that time of Will Collar, who's certainly putting a shift in for Stockport County in the opening 41 minutes of this game. Up towards halfway they go, where they pick out George Dobson. Dobson out wide to that left-hand side. Now it's O'Connor. O'Connor infield, finds the advancing Elliott Lee. Lee just skips away from a first challenge of Ollie Norwood, and then keeps the ball at his feet on that far side to Palmer at the edge of the penalty area. Turns it round the corner to McLean. McLean whips across towards the back post. Just about stays in. It was almost met that time by Barnett, should I say, on this near side. And now it's Barnett with it once more. Out to this right-hand touchline, where twisting and turning is Andy Cannon. He's forced back, though, again towards Dobson. Dobson's ball in is intercepted. It comes down to Wooten, who's again getting the better of Dobson in that middle of the park. And left-footed ball clipped forward. There's no one forward here for Stockport, so Louis Barry will chase it. But it'll be a comfortable throw to Wrexham midway inside their own half.
Yeah, I mean, James McLean again, you know, we know he's got that quality with that left foot. He has to do better when he gets in those wide areas. It's not happened for him too many times, but when you do get there, you have to make it count. That long ball, they're starting to play a little bit more over the last minute or so, Adam, aren't they? And I think Ollie Palmer is getting involved in it, but he needs to be the centre forward of the two. That plays on the angle, the diagonal, if you like, because it's too straight at the moment. He's got to drift towards the furthest away centre half. They play that diagonal ball to him. That's when Bodvarsson, Elliott Lee, Andy Cannon have got to help out from those midfield areas. They've got to make up the numbers. And I think we're going to see a lot of that in the second half, because Phil Parkinson must be able to see what I can see from here. He can be a big focal point, Ollie Palmer, in the game, but at the moment, it's passing him by the game.
More live football for you tomorrow. Everton against Liverpool in the WSL. That's live here on TalkSport 2 from 3. And then, as I mentioned earlier, England against the Republic of Ireland from the Nations League is on TalkSport. 5 o'clock we get underway. Kick-off, so we'll have the build-up from 4 for you. Jim Proudfoot, Stuart Pearce and Andy Townsend will be on duty. As this time Rydell goes into the box, and again, good goalkeeping from Callum Burton as he puts that one behind for a corner. As Rydell was just trying to lift it over the goalkeeper, who was advancing and did well. Very,
very good from Callum Burton. When he's being called upon and he's need to make a save, he's been in the right place, other than the wonderful strike from Louis Barry, who came off his line there, looked bright. But the worrying thing is how easy it is for Stockport to get in behind this back line of Wrexham.
Corner again, Norwood will deliver. Right-footed, and out comes Burton with a punch. It's only cleared to the edge of the box, where it's taken down by Bate, who goes to the right-hand side, and they'll come all the way back with 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿, and they'll pick out Hinchcliffe away to our right-hand side. We're into the Final minute of the first half here on TalkSport 2. Stockport still leading by a 0-0. Here's Dobson, who will get it forward for Wrexham. Now McLean down that left-hand side. And they get the red shirts forward to support this attack. Here's McLean. He's going to try and switch a ball to this near side. But again, it's easily read and easily cut out that time by Rydell, who's done brilliantly and now joins the attack with Louis Barry down this left-hand side. Barry, though, comes off this left-hand touchline and goes infield. Gets it back to Horsfall. Horsfall now to Pye. Pye will just lift it in towards Wilton. He's caught late there. That's naughty from Cannon. And
that has to be a yellow card.
Yeah, he is getting a yellow card out, and you can hear the ironic cheers. 4 in this first half, but the first one for Wrexham. And it's Andy Cannon that goes in the book.
Ethan Pye's done really well. He's kept his cool. He stayed on the ground there, but Andy Cannon knew exactly what he was doing. And that comes down to not being at it for me, Adam. Not wanting to do the hard yards. Andy Cannon, yeah, he wants to get on the ball. He wants to make things happen in the opposition's half. But half your job is, when you're not on the ball, defend for your team. It was a cop-out for me, making a silly foul. Deserved that yellow card.
Left-footed ball swung in by Rydell, and the flicked header is a decent one that time from Ethan Pye, but it's wide of Burton's left hand upright. Cannon, of course, he was on loan at Stockport back in 2022 as well, so familiar ground for him. Barrow have equalised against Wimbledon on the stroke of half-time. Andy Dallas with a goal for Barrow, and Crewe lead Notts County in League 2 by a 0-0. Shilau Tracy, the goal scorer for Crewe Alexander. We're into a minute of added time. In fact, we've almost had a minute of added time here, courtesy of referee Tom Kirk. And I'm pretty sure that when Callum Burton gets this ball in the air, the half-time whistle will go. And indeed it does, as prescribed. And Stockport County take the advantage then into half-time, courtesy of Louis Barry with his 11th League One goal of the season. And what a goal it was as well. An absolute beauty from the edge of the penalty area. There was an appeal for a handball moments before, after George Dobson had flung himself at a shot that looked like it was heading goalwards. The referee wasn't interested, but the ricochet came back to Barry at the edge of the box, and right-footed, he curled a beauty in. And Mickey Gray, there's no doubt that at half-time, Stockport County, they deserve the lead.
Absolutely. They've been the more dominant side. They've been the more patient team. Having not got off to the brightest of starts, I have to say, it looked like it was all Wrexham in the first 5 minutes of the game, but after that they started to dictate at the back. They were very calm going through the midfield lines. They've certainly won that midfield battle, there's no question of that. And when you look at the opportunities in that first half, the better ones have come from Stockport, but you want that bit of quality in the final third. It fell to the right man in Louis Barry, and what an outstanding goal he scored here today. And
in terms of the numbers, Mickey, I mean, you can look at as many stats as you want, but I mean, in possession, in passing, in shots and everything, they've literally dominated that 45 minutes of football. And I, for one, have been pretty disappointed with what I've seen from Wrexham.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think you were always looking, before you come across that white line, you were always looking at your players. You look them in the eyes, you think, right, have you got that extra 5% here today? What's going to make the difference? I'm seeing in 7 or 8 Stockport County players' faces, I'm thinking, you're making the difference. I'm looking at Wrexham. They're playing like robotic and static, playing in their positions. Elliot Lee, disappointing. Andy Cannon, very disappointing. George Dobson, expecting more, disappointing. I'm looking on that right-hand side for Wrexham. Ryan Bennett and Max Cleworth, they're all over the place. They're panicking. And you see the Stockport players growing in stature, making that difference, got themselves in front. And I keep saying, the only disappointing thing in that first half for Dave Chandler is they're not winning by 2 goals.
Louis Barry, I mean, we've seen what he can do. I mean, when you look at his, we were looking at his resume pre-game, weren't we? Here's a kid that's been in Barcelona. He knows how to play football. I mean, there's a couple of people talking about, well, Villa have got an interesting decision to make in January, or they have him back. I mean, I think you leave him here and let him continue to grow in the manner that he is. But the skills we've seen from him in his decision-making, what he can do with the ball, his feet, the speed of his feet, but also the quality of his finishing as well.
Yeah, well, you can see, you know, he's been training on a daily basis with quality players. And when you come down at a couple of levels, you think to yourself, right, I'm going to be the best player in League One for Stockport County. Last season, I want to be the best player for Stockport County. You go there, but certain players can go out on loan and they can kind of toss it off, if you like, for want of a better word. You think to yourself, oh, well, okay, I'll go there. I'm better than everybody else. I'll get a bit of match fitness, but not him. He's came through that door, full respect to him. His goals return is absolutely outstanding, and he's just got that quick feet, that low centre of gravity, an eye for goal, wants to make a difference. And I was quite surprised at him, actually, when the team came out, how far left he was playing. I thought he'd play a little bit closer to Wootton through the middle, but Dave Chandler's got his job right. He's done his tactics right. He's making that space down the left-hand side. And what an outstanding finish it really was from a confident player.
We talk a lot about tactics and the way people want to play. You know, we said earlier on that, you know, and a lot of teams in League One now, they want to play Pep's way. They want to get it down. They want to do whatever. Interesting today to see two teams that on paper you would say, well, they're both playing three at the back. You know, they're probably going to set up quite similar. They haven't really, have they? Because it's more of a back five for Wrexham. But actually, the bombing on of the two fullbacks, I mean, often, like you say, they're like wingers. They're sometimes the furthest player forward for Stockport. And that just seems to mean there's an overload in the middle of the park, which Stockport are taking full advantage of.
Well, let me bring Pep Guardiola into this conversation, if I may.
He would like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, when Man City play against the back three or back five, you always set up thinking, okay, right, we're playing three centre-halves, and our two wing-backs are going to be our outlet. But every single time you watch Man City play, whoever they're playing against, it always seems to be that flat back five, because they hold possession, Man City. The movement off the ball is fantastic. They make you drop into positions that you don't want to drop into. You see the two wing-backs are probably thinking to themselves, well, look, if I go forward now and Man City win the ball back and do 3 or 4 passes, I'm out of position. I'm the one who's going to get called by my manager and say, right, you were out of position. That's why we conceded a goal. That's what's happened to Wrexham. They have set up with a back three of 3 centre-halves and 2 wing-backs, but because of the dominance and the possession that Stockport have had, it has ended up being a flat back 5. McLean can't get out. Barnett can't get over the halfway line. And this is where Stockport have started to take control of the game. In that midfield area, talked about Ollie Norwood. We know he's got the quality. He's been fantastic in that first half. Louis Bay, albeit give the ball away on a couple of occasions, but some of the through balls to Rydell over on this left-hand side, absolutely first class. Those 3 midfield players for Wrexham are probably sitting back and thinking the same thing as the wing-backs. Oh, well, if I go forward in advance and try and win the ball back now and I lose it, I'm out of position. We're in big trouble. That is what's happened in that first 45 minutes, and that's why Stockport are in the ascendancy.
It's a cracking, proper game of football here at Edgeley Park. There's no doubt about it, and plenty more to come, I'm sure, in the second half, because you get the feeling that Phil Parkinson and Wrexham won't take this lying down as things stand. So half-time here on TalkSport 2 at Edgeley Park. It is Stockport County 1, Wrexham 0.
As the biggest teams in Europe go head-to-head, TalkSport and Carling have come together to bring you coverage of the UEFA Nations League.
What a fantastic strike!
From expert pub pundits to on-the-sofa supporters, get your mates together with Carling for the unbeatable football action. Cometh the hour, cometh the fan.
What a finish that is!
Coverage of the UEFA Nations League live on TalkSport with Carling. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Let me go straight to the point. When you're laying a patio or driveway, you need Sika Fast Fix. It's ready mixed, easy to use, and quick to apply. Plus, it comes in 5 colours, and you can use it in any weather. Transform your next project with confidence. Transform it with Sika Fast Fix. And you'll finish a quality job in no time at all. Sika stock is now at sika.co.uk/landscaping.
There are so many things to look forward to this winter. Tucking up under your coziest blanket. Starting every conversation with, I can't believe how dark it is. Convincing the kids they do need a coat. And the Skoda winter sale. £750 towards your finance deposit on Solutions PCP at 6.9% APR representative on top of existing offers. Jump in at skoda.co.uk or your local retailer before the 18th of November. T's and C's apply. Excludes ENIACs and LROC. Indemnities may be required. Skoda Finance.
The Big Wicks event is now on. From tiles to flooring, doors, kitchens, bathrooms and more. We have everything you need to help you start your next home improvement project. Shop the Big Wicks event in-store and online now.
Yes! I just can't believe it.
This time tomorrow, you could be a millionaire. Get your lotto ticket for tonight's draw. The National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Sounds like someone just made a delicious order and got himself a tasty free delivery too. Because when you sign up to Delivery Plus, you get member perks like free delivery on eligible orders from restaurants, groceries and shops. Delicious. Sign up to Delivery Plus today and start living that plus life. Subscription fee, minimum spend, geographical restrictions, service fees and terms apply. Long distance orders and some partners excluded. See delivery.co.uk/legal for details.
CEF. Ever wondered who we are? Well, we have over 400 branches across the UK and Ireland. We're online, in-app, and our CEF catalogue is your go-to for everything electrical. We have over 3,500 experts to help with any electrical queries, and we stock over 44,000 electrical products, from power tools and cables to renewables. So, if you didn't know who we are, you do now. CEF. Your electrical experts.
Hard-hitting football coverage on DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker.
An absolute corker.
EFL Game Day Live on TalkSport 2.
We're packed in like sardines in this Edgeley Park press box, but it is wonderful here on TalkSport 2 to bring you down into League One for what should be a cracking encounter. At the edge of the 6-yard area, Norman with a shot, appeals for handball. That time after, I think it was Dobson who threw himself, but no need for a handball because Louis Barry has scored for Stockport County.
The first shot on target with real intent comes from the top quality of somebody like Louis Barry, and what a finish that was.
All over the top for Collar to chase. Oh, he's kept it in brilliantly. Collar inside the box, left-footed shot deflected and just wide. Right-footed ball goes back into the danger zone. It's a good save. The rebound comes out. Brilliant second save as well. And he manages to deny Horsfall from close range. That's excellent goalkeeping from Callum Burton. Stockport County take the advantage then into half-time, courtesy of Louis Barry with his 11th League One goal of the season. Yeah, welcome back to Edgeley Park, where there's one goal separating the two sides. Let's take you around the other half-time scores and full-time scores from earlier, of course, where it finished Exeter 0, Lincoln City 0 live on TalkSport 2. A stalemate early on in the day. It's stalemate as well in the game between Blackpool and Northampton. That remains 0-0 at half-time. Same scoreline between Bristol Rovers and Crawley Town. There were goals early on in the game between Cambridge United and Barnsley. That remains 1-1 at half-time. And now the only games, of course, ongoing in League One today. In League Two, Accrington Stanley 2, Swindon 1. It's Barrow 1, AFC Wimbledon 1. Bromley 0, Carlisle 0. Colchester United 0, Bradford 1. It's Crewe 1, Notts County 0. Doncaster 0, Salford City 0. Harrogate Town 0, Chesterfield 0. MK Dons 1, Cheltenham 2. It's goalless between Morecambe and Port Vale and between Newport and Grimsby as well. And just to bring you up to speed on some of the WSL this afternoon, Brighton with a late winner to beat West Ham United. Brighton 3, West Ham 2, and it finished in the North London derby. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 3. That game was live, of course, over on TalkSport this afternoon. And talking of WSL, well, after we're done here on TalkSport 2, we've got a cracker for you as the top two go head-to-head with Chelsea facing Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. Now, earlier this week on our women's football show with Leanne Sanderson and Villa striker Rachel Daly, they reflected on both sides' form heading into the game, and in particular, the talent of the City striker, Bunny Shaw.
Quite a unique player. I think she's added so much to her game over the past couple of seasons as well, and just a pivotal figure for City. But she's so strong. I think any defender will tell you she's so difficult to mark. But she's added different elements of her game. I think her finishing now is just like top level. Not that it wasn't, but I think she's just raised that every year. And I know now, like, luckily for me, I mean, I've played a lot deeper this season for the past few games, more in a 10 role now. But we've now got Sean Gota, who was at City, and just learning from him day in, day out, it's crazy. So I think for her, probably working with him as well, she'll probably have seen the results of the detail that he goes into. But yeah, she's absolutely flying. She's a phenomenal player.
Yeah, talking about not taking their foot off the gas, a team that doesn't look like they've skipped a beat. Chelsea 3, Liverpool 0. No issues for Chelsea again. Now, Sonia Bonfat's still going in there this season. Like, what have you noticed been the biggest difference you've seen? Because obviously Emma Hayes have done an amazing job, but they seem to have added stuff to their dimension. I mentioned about Baltimore last week on the show, but adding Bronzy in there, you know, and players that have just really made an impact. And I feel like Evan Cuthbert's even improved. It's like hard to explain. It was almost like they needed a little bit of a freshen up, and this could be the year they win the Champions League. But what have you made of them so far, H?
Yeah, I think obviously Emma is just a legend. She did so well. She was the foundation of that club and turned it into what it is. And she did such an amazing job. And I think it's probably difficult for Bonpastor to come in and just seamlessly keep that transition going, because, you know, when you get a new manager, things change. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down, sometimes, you know, it's a difficult thing to do. But I think the biggest thing I've noticed again with Chelsea is they possess the ball a lot more. I think last year, the last couple of years, they've been a lot more direct. They try and get back to front really quick, where they still do that, but the quality they've got to build through the thirds is definitely more noticeable. I think Canarid, the right winger, she's at the minute for me player of the season so far. She's so good, and I think she's added a different dimension to her game. I don't know if that's Bronzy allowing her to have a bit more of a freedom with her bombing up and down. And, you know, I think there's just a lot of players in that squad that they've always had such a deep squad. You know, they could literally play their second 11 and they'd probably beat every team in the league. So they're very fortunate in that sense. But I think she's come in and done a fantastic job and just sort of raised the little possession a bit, which I think maybe they not really lacked, but I think their emphasis is more on the quality in the possession through the thirds rather than just going back to front straight away.
Yeah, it should be a cracking game, and it's coming up for you at 5:30 right here on TalkSport 2 in the WSL from Stamford Bridge as Chelsea take on Manchester City. Of course, I think it was City last season were the only team that Chelsea didn't actually beat, and obviously ended up sneaking the title. There was a bit of controversy as well, wasn't there, in one of their encounters with a late goal for Chelsea. And those points at the end of the day could have made a bit of a difference. Right, don't think there's any changes here at half-time. Both teams are back out. We're almost ready to go. Our referee, Tom Kirk, is happy. And he just checks with both goalkeepers. So we're running through the teams in a moment or two, but it is going to be Stockport who get us underway. They are defending the Railway end away to our left-hand side in this second 45 minutes, leading by a 0-0. And it's a long punt forward initially, that time from Hinchcliffe towards the edge of the Wrexham penalty area. Helped on its way down this right-hand side. Collar's chasing after it, and there's definitely been a touch there. That I'm sure from Dan Scarr, and it means it's gone out for a corner. And immediately Stockport County at the start of this second half with a set piece for Ollie Norwood.
Starting where they finished off, Stockport. It's great, knowing that they've got to get in behind Wrexham. And it was just clever play there, wasn't it, Will Cullen? No, he wasn't going to win the ball. He made Dan Scarr make that error, and another opportunity with the quality that Norwood's got from this corner.
He is, and they've put the big guys up there. There's no doubt about it, and the header was a free one for Pye, and he's put it over the top of the crossbar. But whatever the equation was, Pye could have done better there, couldn't he?
Always leaning towards it, wasn't he? Trying to get that little inch away from his marker, Ethan Pye. But that quality again, talk about the difference from Stockport and Wrexham. Ollie Norwood's quality into the box from set pieces being absolutely fantastic. On the money again. And you're right, can he just leap a little bit and lean forward, Ethan Pye? But again, good and bright start from Stockport County.
I mean, Horsfall had got free there as well. There was two or three blue shirts that had found themselves in space. Not the best of marking jobs by Phil Parkinson's side. And we mentioned that away from home, they've not been the best. Only Stevenage, Crawley and Cambridge United have scored fewer goals away from home than Wrexham, but you counter that, they've got the best away defence as well. 6-6 is the stats on their away form right now. You wonder where that goal's going to come from.
Yeah, sorry, Adam. I'm just looking for a change in the second half from Wrexham, and he's gone in there now. There's a bit of difference now. Dobson's gone back in that central area, but when they were playing down the left-hand side there, all three midfield players, there were nobody to be seen, nowhere to be seen. There was 60 yards of grass in front of us in that central area. That's the problem. When they give the ball away, Stockport can counter-attack on them. They're using the pace in those final areas. It really surprised me. We talk about the experience of Phil Parkinson. At times, I'm looking at his team, and it's like a jigsaw puzzle that, you know, there's a 2 or 3 pieces missing from it. It is really difficult to work out.
The difference in their form. I mean, at home, they've won 6 of their 7 home games. They've won 1 of their last 6 away. I mean, they don't lose many. They've lost 2 this season in total, Birmingham and Stevenage, both on the road, of course. have managed 3 draws in that run of just 1 win in the last 6. So they don't often get beaten, a sign of their resilience, but they've yet really to get that away form in shape. And of course, last season when these sides met here, they were on the end of an absolute 5-0 thumping from Stockport County. And well, let's be honest, if it was a 2 or 3 at half time, you wouldn't have been in the slightest bit surprised. Such has been the dominance of Dave Challoner's side in that opening 45 minutes. Throwing on the far side for Stockport, they're midway inside the Wrexham half. You're listening to TalkSport 2, 3 minutes into the second half here. Stockport leading by a 1-0. A chance to get out for Wrexham, but the pass to Bodvarsson wasn't the best. I'm sure at some point we'll see Paul Mullin. Bodvarsson starting for him today in one of 2 changes for Wrexham from the victory over Mansfield last weekend, as that's clipped down the line. Lovely one, clipped down the line as well to the byline. Cut back at the edge of the 6-yard box. Couldn't find anyone there. 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊. It was a brilliant run. Good pull back. And it's half cleared, only as far as Bate. Bate then will just feed it in towards the left-hand side this time, where Rydell is waiting. He's got support inside the penalty area. 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊 wants it short at the edge of the box. He's got Norwood in the middle. And now to this right-hand side, it's Connolly. Connolly out wide again to 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊. Back to Connolly. Right near touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. In towards the box. Norwood's there, but it's snuffed out this time and well defended by Tom O'Connor.
Well, it's not the frantic start that we had in the first 45 minutes, but you watch the patterns of play from Stockport. If they can't get across into the area, you can see they've got that arc. They play it into Ollie Norwood. One of the centre-halves then comes out of the back 3. He then plays it to the wide right-hand side. It's build-up, but it's patient. Yes, they give the ball away initially or eventually in that build-up play, but you can see those patterns.
Well, that's good from Collar. Goes down. The referee put his whistle to his lips to give a free kick right at the edge of the box on the right-hand side for the foul on Collar, and then he changed his mind. And Wrexham on the counter with Elliot Lee down this left-hand side. McLean's gone ahead of him on this left-hand touchline. Lee, though, just waits for a moment. He's being tracked and harried by 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊. Back to halfway. Well, surely if he felt that Collar wasn't fouled and he'd dived, he may well have given the free kick the other way and shown a yellow card. But he certainly had his whistle to his lips ready to go.
I think there was more to try and play that advantage, Adam, wasn't it? You could see Will Collar, yes, he went to ground, but how much contact was there? Was there enough? But then it's an opportunity for Wrexham to break forward. And again, 2 passes forward and then back.
McLean to Bodvarsson at the byline on his left-hand side. Cuts it back across the box. Comes out towards McLean on this near side. Now he's at the byline. Clips the ball towards the back post. Can they tee it up for Palmer, who was waiting? And in the end, the arriving player was Barnett. Now it's Barnett again on that right-hand side, and it needed a serious intervention that time from Rydell to put the ball out of play on the far side for a throw.
Well, that's where they need to be, isn't it? James McLean on the left-hand side. Bodvarsson, he tried to put the ball into the area. He must be thinking to himself, I've just got to dink this. Played it along the ground when you've got big players.
There's the cross in. Bodvarsson tries to stab it in at the near post, but he just puts it wide of the left-hand upright of Ben Hinchcliffe and behind for what will be a goal kick to Stockport. Let me run you through the 2 teams. Hinchcliffe's in goal. It's Connolly, Horsfall and Pye at the back. 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊 and Rydell are the wing-backs. Norwood and Bate in central midfield with Collar, Wooten and Barry up front for Stockport. As for Wrexham, it's Burton in goal. It's 𝙀𝑰𝘿𝑰𝘊, Scar and O'Connor. Barnett and McLean are the wing-backs. And then it's Cannon, Dobson and Lee in midfield with Palmer and Bodvarsson leading the line for Wrexham, who trail here by a 1-0. Goal from 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊 in the 24th minute of this game. Norwood sweeps play out to the left-hand side. And forward they come again. And it's picked up nicely again by Bate this time off the advancing movement of Rydell, who's now made a run inside the penalty area. Bate is closed down by 2 red shirts, goes back inside his own half. And he gives it short this time to Horsfall on that far side. Left-footed ball clipped forward towards Wooten, who was at the edge of the penalty area. And again, it's hacked clear for Wrexham, just up into the air, though. Trying to win it was Collar. A collision of players, but Collar now with a chance, maybe. Barry towards the edge of the penalty area. Barry still going here on his left foot. 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊 forces the save from Burton at his near post, and he puts it behind for another corner on that far side. But 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝘊 again running the show for Stockport County.
Oh, the feet, absolutely brilliant. The quick feet when he gets in and around that 18-yard box. They're panicking, these Wrexham defenders, because they know if they make contact and he goes to ground, the referee's got a decision to make. He works it onto his left foot. Yes, a bit of a tight angle, but he's just full of confidence at the moment. Super effort.
Here's the corner on that far side. Referee going to intervene, though, because there is a bit of pushing and shoving inside the penalty area. It will come as no surprise to hear that Ethan Pye and James McLean are the two players that are involved in that pushing and shoving around the penalty spot.
Yeah, he's got to wind people up, hasn't he, James McLean?
Ollie Norwood swings that one in under the goalkeeper's nose, and he comes and punches quite well that time. Callum Burton down this near side. It's picked up again by 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝙊, goes back to Bate. Bate on his left foot, goes direct into the penalty area this time, headed away by Scar, into touch on this near side, level with the penalty spot, and it will be a throw down this right-hand touchline for Stockport County. And forward to take this one will come Callum Connolly.
Well, I don't think Dan Scar really wanted to head that one, did he? Had a lot of pace from that Louis Bate ball into the box there. Just closed his eyes, cleared his lines, but that's what they have to do at the moment, Wrexham. They're panicking.
Salford lead against Doncaster Rovers. Kouassi with a goal. That one's drilled across the penalty area, and a brilliant ball as well. Is powered in by Connolly. Down that left-hand side, Stockport come again with Rideout, and it has to be cleared away from inside the penalty area by Barnett.
Well, this has been said on many occasions. Stockport have to capitalise and get that second goal and see out this game. If they don't, there's still an opportunity for Wrexham. As poor as they've been, they can make those changes and make something happen.
Here's Norwood. 9 minutes gone in this second half. Stockport leading by a goal to nil on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. We're off to the WSL at 5:30 when we're done today for another cracking game of football for you, as Chelsea take on Manchester City at the top of the WSL as well.
Wow.
And again, it's another clearance straight into touch on this near side by the left foot of Tom O'Connor.
I mean, it's so sloppy from Wrexham. It's like they've just thought, well, you know, we're not winning this game by playing out from the back. We'll just try and clear our lines. But if you're doing that, and it's come from both wing-backs in the last 2 or 3 minutes, 2 clearances, really, really sloppy. The pressure from Stockport now is relentless. And that's what I keep saying. They have to make it count. They've got to capitalise on it and get that second goal.
Sloppy from Connolly that time, puts it into touch straight away for a throw to Wrexham, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Thrown down this near touchline. Reminder as well on TalkSport 2, we have got football next, but then we've got cricket. We're off to the West Indies. 7:30 tonight. Our exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of the T20 series between England and the West Indies. It's match 4 tonight in St Lucia. That's 7:30. That gets underway tonight. I think first ball bowled around 8 o'clock, although the weather in St Lucia the other day was fairly horrendous. I'm not feeling sorry for anyone who's in St Lucia when it rains. We're in Greater Manchester, everybody, today, and we know what that's like. This is probably the only time there's been a comparison between St Lucia and Greater Manchester.
Yeah, Adam, this is T-shirt weather in Manchester today.
It is. The wife said to me, actually, have you wrapped up warm? Is it thermal? No, it's still over 10 degrees. We don't do thermals yet. McLean down this left-hand side, charging forward. He goes back towards the penalty area, his own penalty area, where Elliot Lee was there, and then O'Connor gets it up towards Bodvarsson. And now that's knocked down into the middle of the park for Cannon to chase onto. He's done well. He's escaped the challenge of Connolly, and now he's putting the pressure on 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝙊 here. Cannon gets it square. Dobson's there outside of the right boot. Oh, that's poor. Well, he may have been an ever-present over the last couple of years, but if he's played like he has today, Dobson's been poor.
Yeah, well, you're thinking about competition for places, and could anybody come in and replace Dobson because of the position that he takes up in this Wrexham lineup? But his discipline hasn't been there. Well, just be quiet while they just play a long ball there. But yeah, it's been really poor. I was expecting a little bit different from that midfield area from Wrexham. Elliot Lee, I saw him a couple of times last season, driving with the ball, wanting to get in the box, wanting to score goals. I've not seen any of that today, and it's disappointing me because I know he's a very good player.
Here's Collar. He's fouled on this near side by James McLean, and no surprise. He's gone for spray rather than the yellow card. I think everyone thought that James McLean was about to get a yellow card then, but the referee has resisted, giving James McLean his traditional yellow card.
Yeah, they have. I mean, he's really struggled, hasn't he, McLean? I thought this before the game started. Defensively, playing against 𝙀𝑼𝘿𝑰𝙊 over on this right-hand side, and McLean being the left wing-back. He's just struggling to get back into positions. He needs to be in opposition's half to see the best of what he can bring.
A lot of football in those legs, over 450 English League appearances as the free kick is swung in. What a ball it is! Oh, and it's cleared away from the edge of the 6-yard box in the end by Cannon. There were 4 or 5 blue shirts, but none of them could get the final touch as that right-footed ball was swung to the edge of the 6-yard box.
Do you know, it's worth its weight in gold set pieces when you've got somebody like Ollie Norwood, and sides who've got somebody like that in the team, and I'm talking about Premier League teams here as well. Sometimes they play just for that. They might not have great qualities, but when you've got somebody who can put it on a 10pence or a 6pence in old-fashioned money, it's just absolutely fantastic. It really is. And what a ball is just put into the box.
I know you say sometimes Wrexham do like to play a little bit more direct. Are they maybe because they've got 𝙀𝑰𝙿𝑰𝘿 in the side, are they trying it maybe a bit too much today and kind of not allowing that midfield to play?
Yeah, I think they are, but I think 𝙀𝑰𝙿𝑰𝘿's got to learn his position a little bit better because, you know, does he want to be the out-and-out striker, or does he want to be that 10, dropping into little pockets and then getting on the half-turn and maybe playing and intertwining with Ollie Palmer in those forward positions? It's not worked for him. It really hasn't. You know, do you feel for him? No, you don't. He's out there playing football and he should be enjoying himself. But these two bigger centre forwards, if you like, for Wrexham, it's not worked at all for me.
McLean is shepherded. As the ball's played by McLean, should I say, towards Palmer. It's shepherded by Connolly into touch. They have it back again. Wrexham, very tight touch line down here at Edgeley Park as well. It's a very tight ground. Everyone's on top of each other. Not much room for the subs to manoeuvre and to warm up, which they are away to our left-hand side right now. The technical area is literally, half a yard from being on the pitch. So it is, it's quite tight down there and congested at times. Here's on that far side, 𝙀𝑰𝙿𝑰𝘿 trying to spin and turn. Wins his side a throw, midway inside the Stockport County half on that right-hand side. Stockport still leading by a goal to nil. We're approaching the hour mark here on TalkSport 2. Throwing on that far side for Wrexham. Be taken by Barnett on this occasion. Taking his time over it, right in front of the travelling Wrexham supporters, all 800 of them on that far side. And Rydell will get it clear, and he pumps it into that stand where the Dragons fans are, all in red on that far side. There'll be another throw on that far touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. Taken short. Barnett's trying to work it here, but it's one back nicely. Bate puts some good pressure on. Wooten on halfway, holds it up nicely. Brings Collar into the game. Charging forward down that left-hand side with plenty of pace once more. Trying to get on the end of it that time was the charge of Rydell with a bit of support as well on that occasion. I think from Ethan Pye was trying to get forward too. And again, it's put into touch on that far side. Pye will take the throw.
Well, he didn't get on the end of it, Ryan Rydell, but he's made a run there. And I say it's the hard yards, doing the hard yards for your team, because he probably knew himself that he wasn't going to get on the end of that through ball. But he put enough pressure on the fullback, then the goalkeeper, to cause that little bit of pressure for then Wrexham to make the mistake and just clear their lines. And now what happens? Stockport back on the ascendancy, put more pressure on Wrexham.
Like you say, though, Mickey, the worry here for Stockport is the fact that they haven't taken advantage. Oh, that's brilliant from Bate. Barry at the edge of the penalty area. To the left-hand side he goes. Rydell again. Ball at feet. On his right foot, looks to clip a ball in. Comes to the edge of the box. And it's a wonderful drive that takes a deflection in the end from 𝙀𝑰𝙿𝑰𝘿 and out for a corner on this right-hand side.
Yeah, they're getting in too easy now. You can see that the confidence is just sapped out of Wrexham. A good play again there as that ball come into the box. But at that opportunity there, I think 𝙀𝑰𝙿𝑰𝘿 with it, the shot eventually. Tom O'Connor is just putting his body in a position and thinking, please hit me and go out for a throw-in or a corner. It's just sustained pressure. They have to get that second goal. I keep harping on about it, but it's so important.
Norwood, it's got in short this time on a bounce, whether it was intended and something that had been worked on or not. Comes to Bate at the edge of the box on the half volley, and he pops it over the top of the crossbar. Let's bring you some goals from elsewhere at the start of this second half as a triple change comes for Wrexham. Harrogate Town, courtesy of Toby Sims, lead by a goal to nil against Chesterfield. In fact, that's one of the only ones. Yeovil 0, Halifax Town 1 is another one. And Torquay United lead against Truro City by a goal to nil. Our very own Jim Proudfoot will be probably very happy. In fact, he's probably watching that game today. It is his day off, but the man can't stay away from football. 𝙀𝑰𝙿𝑰𝘿's coming off here. Mullin is coming on. That's the first of the changes. We're also seeing Cannon depart and Ollie Rathbone going into that midfield. And we're also going to see a third change, and Scar is off and O'Connell is coming on for Wrexham. So triple change then from Phil Parkinson, and let's see what Paul Mullin's got to offer.
Yeah, well, those changes, we'll be hoping Phil Parkinson that it's going to work for his team. Just give them that little bit of energy. We know you get that from Paul Mullin. It's what he's about. And I think he's got to just be a bit of a nuisance alongside these three centre-halves of Stockport County. But now start to play to the strengths. You've got that little man up front now. You know he's lively. You've got the big man, little man scenario. Make it work for your team. They're only a goal behind. They've been poor. But this game, there's something there for them.
Collar on the charge. He's caught, is he, by Lee, who points to the ball. And the referee says, no, you didn't get the ball. You got the man. And it's a free kick for Stockport, about 40 yards out from goal central.
Yeah, really good run there from Will Collar. I think he's been lively today, I have to say. His movement's been excellent. When he's seen a pass, he's played the right ball. He's got himself into some good areas. Could have actually got himself on the score sheet in that first half. But this time he can see two midfield players, drives in between them, and he just wants it more. It's that little toe poke away from his marker. Yes, you feel it. He's having a little limp around at the moment. Probably a little bit too far out for a strike on goal. You can see Louis Bates just stood over it now. But you see that movement from these Stockport players just around the edge of the 18-yard box. Can you make first contact and then somebody poaching in the box just to nick it into the back of the net?
No, it's very central, but it is about 40 yards out, so a little too far, you'd feel. Bate left-footed will swing it towards this back post, nodded down by Connolly in towards the danger zone. Bate chests it down and gets a little advantage, comes out on this near side to Norwood. Norwood infield to Bate again on his left foot. Oh, Bates' pass is intercepted that time by Dobson. And now maybe a chance to counter here. Elliot Lee for Wrexham inside the centre circle. Clips it forward, try and find the run of Dobson, but comfortably headed at the back by 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘊, and then helped on its way this time by Connolly down this right-hand touchline. And it's Collar who'll chase it and put the pressure on Burton away to our right-hand side. Deals with that one well, and away by O'Connor over halfway. Palmer can't quite get there. Now Mullins on, and this time he'll offer a different perspective for the Stockport defenders as to how they deal with this, because before they had the easy challenge maybe of 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿 in his physicality. Now there's the running of Mullin, which is dealt with that time well by Horsfall. Wrexham have it though with Dobson. Dobson out wide to this left-hand touchline. Here is Mullin, right for the ball, clipped into the penalty area. Palmer's almost there to get a touch on it, but it skips through into the arms of Hinchcliffe away to our left-hand side. And that, you'd argue, is the best move of the match for Wrexham.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, would they have wanted it the other way around? I'm not quite sure. It had a little bit of pace on it, didn't it? That ball into the box from Paul Mullin, but at least it's in behind Stockport. It's asking a question. Ollie Palmer just a little bit too slow to get on the end of that one. Needed to be probably a foot shorter, but that's the threat that they can bring to this back line of Stockport, who haven't really been threatened at all.
No, lovely charge forward towards the edge of the penalty area by 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘊, and it's back at the feet of Hinchcliffe. And all of a sudden there are a couple of problems and questions being asked of Stockport County by this Wrexham side. Now they've made that triple change. I wonder if it'll force Dave Challoner into having a think about what Stockport County do. Here's Elliot Lee to the left-hand side. James McLean in possession of the ball, 35 yards out from goal. Just blocked off by 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘊. Picked up again by Lee. Infield to Dobson. Dobson goes back to halfway, where it's picked up by O'Connell, the substitute. Now O'Connor on this left-hand side. Down the line he goes. McLean gets to the byline. Delicious crossover towards Palmer. And Mullin was waiting behind it, but it's defended and blocked out in the end, and his Collar level with the edge of his own box, gives it away straight to the feet of Dobson. Dobson then into the edge of the penalty area where Elliot Lee's there. Lee's fighting to try and get through, and in the end he commits the foul on 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘊, and it's a free kick for Stockport inside their own penalty area.
See the difference of a change from the bench. You know, it just brings that little bit of buzz to your side. Somebody like Paul Mullin coming onto the starting 11. He's got that movement. He's got that energy levels. Everybody just boosts themselves 5-10%. Start getting into better positions. Elliot Lee, how many times have we said he's got into the opposition's 18-yard box? This time, yes, it doesn't come off for him, but you've got to keep getting in there. You've got to keep asking the questions.
It's almost like Lee and Dobson have suddenly gone, oh, actually, Mullin's on now. Let's start playing.
Yeah, and absolutely. And sometimes it works that way. You feel comfortable with certain players in your starting 11, Adam, sorry. But that's what it's about. Well, Phil Parkinson then got to say to his players, right, okay, I've made the changes. Now let's see a bit of a change in your body movement, your language. Is it going to be better? Well, so far from what we've seen, it certainly is.
Stockport have possession again midway inside the Wrexham half. They're going back inside their own territory here, though, with Fraser Horsfall in short to Bate. Bate, lovely little layoff down that left-hand side, as trying to work it forward again was Pye. Over halfway they come. Bate once more, switching it to this near side. 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘊, who's been going backwards a little more in this second half than he did in the first, but now he's advancing forward. Norwood just clips the ball out to that far touchline. Brilliant ball. Rydell brings it down, edge of the penalty area. No foul as he goes down, says the referee. And Wrexham will bring it clear. He's certainly not interested in anything in and around the penalty area so far today, our referee, Tom Kirk.
Yeah, it's just not enough contact, Adam, is it? I mean, Rydell's done really well over on that left-hand side, I have to say, but does he go to ground a little bit too easy? He's probably looking or searching for that penalty. Yes, because he worked his way into the 18-yard box, but it needs to be more physical for me.
Ebbsfleet 0, Solihull Moors 2 in the National League. Here's Mullin holding it up at the edge of the penalty area. Back to James McLean, who swings one towards Palmer at the back post. He gets the knockdown, but it's behind the advancing run that was coming from Ollie Rathbone. Given away again, though. Chance may be for Cleworth here to hit one, which he does from the right-hand angle of the penalty area. But it's blocked out inside the box by Pye. They keep it alive on that far side, though, Wrexham, with Dobson. Forward again to Cleworth. On that far touchline, here's Barnett swinging one towards the back post. Keeper gets a touch on it, Hinchcliffe, and he had to because Palmer was coming round the back, and he puts it behind for a corner to Wrexham on this left-hand side.
Well, just look at them Wrexham supporters now. They can see the change. They can see what's happening to the team. He talks about that big man, little man. Yes, again, it's Palmer drifting now to the far stick. He's always going to win those little knockbacks. But where's your midfield players? Get alongside him. Just expect him to win that ball. You've got a simple little tap in from 7 or 8 yards out.
Elliot Lee swings it over. Hinchcliffe palms it away. Under pressure, it was right under the crossbar. Comes out to Dobson on his right foot. Clips it towards the back post. Offside flags up. And there'll be some respite here for Stockport County. They'll have a chance to clear from the edge of their own penalty area. Here we are, Mickey. 69 minutes on the clock. Stockport leading here on TalkSport 2 by a 1-0. And the one thing we've said through all of Stockport's dominance, it's only 1 goal. And now Wrexham have come to play, and this feels like the game's in the balance.
Well, a game's not 60 minutes, is it? The game's 90 minutes. That's why you have benches. And I just wonder whether Phil Parkinson's probably thinking, I wish I'd done that at half-time, because he's getting a tune out of his team now, and it's Stockport who was starting to panic. They're giving the ball away. We talked about that, 3 centre-halves and 2 wing-backs pushing forward. They will when they get the chance, but they're starting to drop a little bit now, thinking, wow, we're only 1-0 up, and now Wrexham are starting to grow into the game.
Picked up by Norwood in the middle of the park for Stockport County. Floodlights are on here, of course, and kicking in as darkness descends around Greater Manchester. And it remains with 20 minutes remaining. Stockport 1, Wrexham 0. Lovely run here by Bate. Lovely ball slipped in. Chance maybe. Clips it over the goalkeeper. And into the side netting. Well, 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿 was in a wonderful position. It was a brilliant run. It was a delightful ball. And as he clipped his effort goalwards, you thought this is going to nestle. But an outstretched hand of Callum Burton denies him and concedes the corner.
Yeah, well, there hasn't been too many occasions in the second half where Stockport have kind of split through the midfield of Wrexham and played that wonderful through ball. This occasion they did with Louis Bate. And 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿's probably been waiting for that little run. He times it perfectly, but super effort.
Here's the corner again. That swung towards that back post, nodded down and behind. The header was won this time by Horsfall again, but he thought there may have been a flick off a Wrexham head, but nothing doing from the referee. And I think Wrexham are preparing another change, and we're also going to see the first change coming for Stockport County.
Yeah, well, they need to freshen it up, and I think we look at Dave Channell, he's probably looking at his team and thinking, well, have we given everything that we've got? Certain players out there looking a little bit leggy now. I need a bit of a change. I need some pace. And I think 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿 has certainly got that pace in abundance. It looks like that's the change that they're going to make. But Wrexham, certainly looking at the changes they've had to do in this game, it's working for them. They're sensing something in the game.
That change imminent, and another change coming as well for Wrexham, it would seem, too, in moments. Elliot Lee first, though, here for the visitors as they advance towards that Stockport County goal away to our left-hand side. Here is Lee in some space, 25 yards out. Just tease that one up for Tom O'Connor. Wide is James McLean. He's always got decent delivery on him, and he scoops out to the back post. Header is just wide. And he got up for the header, but just couldn't direct it goalwards, Palmer. And it's wide of the right-hand post. Well, what an opportunity.
Oh, I mean, it's a massive chance, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Great play from James McLean. Criticised him defensively, but when you want a bit of quality over on that left-hand side, he brings it outside of his left foot. I think it was Elliot Lee with a header inside the 18-yard area. Talked about him making those great runs in the box. We've just not seen enough of it, but he's in acres of space. He's leaping for it, needs to make leverage with his neck muscles, does get a little bit on it, but it's not really going to test Ben Hinchcliffe in that Stockport goal enough. But the threat is there now for Wrexham. They can sense blood. They want to try and get back into the game first and foremost, but can they get level terms? But then can they go and win it? That's what you have to be thinking in your head.
Well, Eofe is the player that has come on to replace Louis Barry. Then he scored a hat-trick when these sides met, of course, last season. And the change for Wrexham has seen Mo Fowl from West Brom, of course, who they signed in the summer. He's come on to replace Ollie Palmer. So that double threat's gone. The irony with that header there for Elliot Lee is Palmer was right behind him.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't have had to have stretched his neck muscles anyway.
It's a problem, though, isn't it? Because it's instinct, in a split second, you think to yourself, if somebody shouts at me, do I let this ball go? Because if nothing comes of it, you're then thinking, I've just had a great opportunity and I've not taken it. It's communication. But you have to say, the movement now from Wrexham. In the first half, there was probably one player in the box. Now,
and here's Mullin, he's onside. As you know, his offside flags up immediately as he takes it down at the edge of the penalty area.
But this is something, Adam, now that this back line of Stockport have not had to really think about or worry about in the whole game. They've got Paul Mullen, who's now running in behind. The three centre-halves are thinking, well, who's going to pick him up? Who's going to mark him? It's been so easy for us so far in the game. Horsfall's looking at these two centre-halves alongside him, Connolly and Pye, and thinking, well, he's not my man. But that's what Paul Mullen brings to a starting 11. Whether he's in form or not, whether he's scoring goals, he's a nuisance as a centre-forward. In the best possible way.
In the very best possible way. 16 minutes to go here. It's Stockport County 1, Wrexham 0. You're listening to TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. Stay with us for live WSL coverage at 5:30 today as Chelsea take on Manchester City. The top of the WSL. They go toe-to-toe, and we'll have it for you from Stamford Bridge with Kevin Hatchard and Tash Dowie from 5:30 this afternoon. There's a foul there immediately on Eofe on that far side, and that's going to be a free kick for Stockport County, and they'll welcome that 15 yards inside the Wrexham half. I'll tell you what, they were taking quick free kicks in these stages in the first half. They're taking their time over this to give themselves an opportunity just to have a respite from the pressure that's being applied at times by Wrexham.
They certainly are. But that's just game management. You know, the manager and the players have got to take that on board themselves and know that in the last few minutes they're under pressure. Just slow the game down, ask questions of Wrexham. They're the ones who need to come up with a bit of quality.
Elliot Lee clips it forward. Foul with the chest down. It comes out as far as McLean, and now it's helped on its way to Dobson, back at the edge of their own penalty area, with O'Connell, who shifts it out to that right-hand side nicely. Cleworth forward, he tries to find the run of Mullin, but it's intercepted, and Bate will pick it up in the middle of the park. And here they come again on that far side with Pye. Pye clips the ball. The chase on there, but again, straight into touch. And it will be a throw-in on that far side for Wrexham. Comeback of the afternoon. Looks like it's going to go the way of... it's disappeared off my screen. Coastal Town were 3-0 up. That was it. Biggleswade Town have got it back to 3-3. Oh, wow. A couple of goals there in the space of about 5 minutes. 3 of them for Biggleswade. There was a cracker last weekend, wasn't there? I think 5 minutes before the end, there was was it 5-2 or something, and the team won 6-5 in stoppage time.
4-2, 5-4, I think he finished. Yeah, scored 3 goals in about 4 minutes of added on time. It's incredible.
Some amazing comebacks going on around the football leagues so far this season. Here's Wrexham on halfway. Can they complete a comeback here? Training by a goal to 0. 13.5 minutes plus added time to play at Edgeley Park. Wonderful footballing theatre. A little bit quieter than it was in the first half because the Stockport fans are starting to feel the nerves as Wrexham have slowly but surely inched their way into this game during this second period. Here's O'Connell. Outside him on this left-hand side is O'Connor. And it's O'Connor that he goes to. The Irishman combine into Mo Fowl in the middle of the park for Wrexham. Now to that right-hand side, it's Elliot Lee. He's got plenty of support coming from Rathbone. Rathbone to that far touchline where Barnett's waiting. Cuts back inside to Cleworth. And here's Barnett, edge of the box, on his right foot. Tries a low shot. Easily cleared away that time by Horsfall, but they've still got it in and around the Stockport penalty area. McLean on this left-hand side. Dobson goes outside him. McLean on his right foot puts it in low. Has to be headed away on the ground that time at the edge of the penalty area by Norwood. And it's as far as Dobson. And now to O'Connor. And now this is a complete opposite of how things were playing out in that first half and for the early part of this second half, because it's Wrexham who are camped in the Stockport County half. And they have it on that right-hand side. Chance to deliver a goal into the box, which they do, and it comes to Dobson, and he was about to hit the shot, and Ollie Norwood has taken it off his toes.
That's a brilliant challenge from Norwood. It's just pressure upon pressure now from Wrexham.
It is, and here they come again, and it's a good save low down to his left-hand side by Ben Hinchcliffe, and another shot from Ryan Barnett that came in from the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, well, too much space, the little give and go. Barnett there got an opportunity. It was a little bit behind him, the ball. Maybe he could have just controlled himself and slowed himself down a little bit, panicked a little bit, thinking, right, I've got to get me shot away. He had probably more time than he thought he did. But again, you see Stockport now, they've kind of changed to the way Wrexham are playing. Long balls, the ball's then coming straight back to them. Wrexham are now showing that extra little bit of quality. And you go back to that result in what's in front of us now, Adam. 1-0. It is there for Wrexham to get themselves back into this game. They've just got to keep knocking on the door, and the answers will come.
7-goal thriller at Dagenham and Redbridge between them and Barnet. It's Dagenham and Redbridge 3, Barnet 4 as things stand. Here's foul at the edge of the penalty area, out to this near side, and lovely little turn that time, and there's a foul, and there's going to be a yellow card here, and it's going the way of Ollie Rathbone, so we can head to Stamford Bridge. That WSL game coming up at 5:30 between Chelsea and Man City. And with the team news, it's Kevin Hatchard.
7 changes for Chelsea from the win at Celtic, including the return of Millie Bright and Lucy Bronze in defence and Myra Ramirez in attack. Just 1 change for City as Jill Roord returns in midfield. Lauren Hemp out injured. Chelsea against Manchester City, coming up live on TalkSport 2.
Well, could be a big blow, that no Lauren Hemp this afternoon. Goals going in elsewhere. Barrow 1, AFC Wimbledon 3 now. Matty Stevens and MK Dons 2, Cheltenham Town 2. And an equaliser as well for Doncaster Rovers against Salford City, courtesy of Billy Sharp. Still going, still banging them in, is Billy Sharp for Doncaster Rovers this afternoon.
And why not? You love football, you love scoring goals, keep playing.
10 minutes to go on TalkSport 2, EFL Game Day Live. It remains Stockport 1, Wrexham 0 here at Edgeley Park on your home of the EFL. Our next EFL coverage for you is on Friday night. I'll tell you about that in a moment as McLean comes forward down this left-hand side once more. Infield they go to O'Connor, and O'Connor's ball is easily intercepted. It wasn't the best, and it'll be cleared by Hinchcliffe away to our left-hand side. We've got Plymouth against Watford for you from the Championship on Friday night, 8 o'clock kickoff here on TalkSport 2. Of course, Hugh will be with you with a build-up from 6 o'clock, but it's going to be Plymouth against Watford on Friday night here on TalkSport 2. There is more live football tomorrow from the WSL as well. Merseyside derby between Everton and Liverpool on TalkSport 2 from 3. And then at 5 o'clock, don't forget England against the Republic of Ireland in the Nations League. England need to win that game to get that promotion, meaning Thomas Tuchel can start his reign with World Cup qualifiers in March rather than Nations League playoff games, which would be the preference, obviously. And our coverage starts tomorrow afternoon from 4 o'clock at Wembley. And Andy Townsend, the former Republic of Ireland captain, is alongside the former England captain Stuart Pearce for that one, and Jim Proudfoot as well. Fevrier is coming on, I think. Jaden Fevrier down below, and Adaramola as well.
Triple change,
I think. There's a triple change.
Adam, yeah.
That pillar's just blocked out the triple change. So the other player coming on is Odin Bailey as well.
You don't get that, do you, every single week at some of the stadiums that you have to work in?
Not right on the halfway line, no, but there's worse places where they're in the goal mouth. Here's the change then, and it's going to be Ollie Norwood who's the first one to come off. And it'll be Odin Bailey who comes on. Odin Bailey actually was on target in that 5-0 win against Bolton last week, and it's his 50th league appearance for Stockport County today. We're also going to see Ryan Rydell depart. He's going off too as he makes his way, and Jaden Fevrier is the player that's coming on to replace him. And last but by no means least, as Rydell makes his way over, I'm just to see the third change was, we had Norwood, there's one more to come, and then on goes Odin Bailey as we mentioned. There's Rydell coming over, Adaramola also off. So Stockport ringing the changes for the last 8 minutes. as they try and withstand this barrage from Wrexham.
Yeah, well, again, it's all about those energy levels. You want your players who come off the bench to make an impact. Wrexham players have certainly done that without getting themselves on the score sheet. And Dave Channell will be hoping and expecting the same from his substitutions.
Header away by Horsfall inside his own penalty area as Wrexham attack again on that right-hand side towards the edge of the box, keeping possession nicely. Comes back to Dobson. Dobson then out wide to that right-hand side again for Wrexham. And Dobson with his left foot will ping it in, and it's cleared away on this near side by 𝙀𝑺𝙏𝑰𝘿. It looks like he's come on in place of 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘿, who was the other player who's departed. So the pressure down the flanks telling very much so here in terms of the changes that they've made.
Yeah, certainly is. And you talk about that flat back five, where it pretty much is now for Stockport, because its back's against the wall and panic stations are starting to settle into the side, which is not a good sign. Just clearing the lines, hoping to see out this game and pick up all 3 points. But it's not going to be easy. They are going to have to battle. They've not had to do it for a long periods in this game, but certainly the last 10, 15 minutes of it they have done. And they're going to have to keep going. But this would be a huge win for the home side.
McLean swings that towards the edge of the penalty area. Half headed away that time by 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘿, who's dropped into that midfield area for Stockport County. Down that right-hand side, the former Birmingham City midfielder 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘿. He was there in his youth days, spent a bit of time on loan as Forest Green as well. But as I say, scored last weekend in that 5-0 win over Bolton, coming on as a sub. He'd like to repeat that today if he could. As that ball is picked up by Bate, and he's just pinged it too far on this near side. Final change then coming for Wrexham, and we're going to see the introduction of Matty James, who's coming on to replace George Dobson. Let's give you some of the goals that have gone in elsewhere in the last few minutes or so. It's been a good day for Oldham. They lead Tamworth by 4 goals, and they're in the National League. Ebbsfleet 0, Solihull Moors 5. A big win for the Moors, travelling down to Kent today. We mentioned that equaliser from Billy Sharp. Chesterfield have equalised against Harrogate. James Berry on target as well in the latter stages of that game. We're in the latter stages here at Edgeley Park. Last 5 minutes or so. And it remains Stockport County 1, Wrexham 0. And again, it's Jaden Fevrier who puts it into touch on this near side. Just sitting a little bit deeper maybe in that right wing back role than what we saw of 𝙀𝑚𝘿𝑰𝘿 throughout most of this game. Just watching the advances of James McLean down this left-hand side, who still seems to have plenty of running in his legs for a 35-year-old. It's picked up by O'Connell for Wrexham inside the centre circle, out wide to that right-hand side where it's being harried and hassled and picked up by Rathbone. And now Barnett on that far touchline gets the crossover. It's hacked clear by Ethan Pye. Backs to the wall stuff now for Stockport County, leading by a goal to 0. Helped on its way infield down that right-hand side again. Ryan Barnett tries to get there once more, and it's a good challenge on that far side. Decent from Adaramola. Well, he's beaten this time though. Right-footed ball goes into the box, and it has to be nodded down and behind by Fraser Horsfall. He was on his haunches, on his knees as he nodded it behind for another corner to Wrexham.
Yeah, never nice that, the way that ball bounces in the area for Fraser Horsfall. He had to keep his eyes on it just to clear his lines any way that he possibly could. But again, it's more sustained pressure from Wrexham. Tom O'Connor, I think, over there on the right, well, far side from where we are, just to whip this ball into the area. Take a chance, Wrexham players. Get in on there.
Left-footed swung in towards the edge of the 6-yard box again. It's going to come back out. McLean will keep it alive. Going to be delivered once more. And it is towards the angle of the penalty area. Barnett swings it on towards Mullin, who gets the header away, but he puts it well wide of the right-hand post of Ben Hinchcliffe. Over 10,000 packed into Edgeley Park this afternoon, and they've been royally entertained. Whether it's going to end the way the majority of them want it to, we shall see. Maybe a little clash of heads here that may require a little bit of treatment. Paul Mullin is still down. It's he and also Callum Connolly that went for that ball. We've got, just over 3 minutes remaining. Port Vale have scored a late goal, probably a winner as well. Ethan Chislett has scored for them at Morecambe. Morecambe 0, Port Vale 1 as things stand. And Darren Moore's side ticking over very well. And I think, Paul Mullin is saying he's seen more than one of his physio coming over.
He's got a little bit of a nick
at him.
Got
something in his eye, maybe?
Well, I don't know if there's any blood on his face there. Adaramola was the man closest to him as that ball came into the box. He won the header, Paul Mullen. It was very far out, not much pace on the cross. He had to really work his neck muscles to try and get anything on it. Eventually missed the target, but it was a little shove from Adaramola. And I'm just thinking, was it his arm that went across Mullen's face? And there's a little bit of blood maybe coming from the top of his nose. I'm not quite sure, or he's just took a finger or something in the eye, but need to get him back out there as quick as they possibly can. They're running out of time.
Yeah, they've used all 5 of our substitutes for sure. I mentioned that game lower down the pyramid between Coleshill Town and Biggleswade Town. It's now 4-4. There's a bit of a belting game there. There's some entertainment out there for you, maybe the international break, but there's plenty of it going on. 2 minutes left here at Edgeley Park. This has been entertaining, that's for sure. And it remains 1-0 to Stockport County on TalkSport 2. Reminder the cricket, 7:30 tonight. West Indies against England, the 4th T20 International. England have won the series 3-0. And in a couple of weeks as well, we'll be heading to New Zealand to bring you live and exclusive coverage of England's Test series against the All Blacks. That's in the coming weeks too, right here on TalkSport 2 as well. Plenty of live international cricket for you as we follow England as they travel around the world. Not going around the world at 5:30 today. We're just nipping down to Stamford Bridge for the game between Chelsea and Man City in the WSL. Keeper's got the ball. Ben Hinchcliffe away to our left-hand side.
Yeah, leaving no rush now. Clearing his lines, Ben Hinchcliffe, who's taking his time, ticking down the seconds and the minutes. They know that they're nearly at the finishing line now. This is the hard yards. This is where you've got to work. When things aren't going well for you, you're looking around at your teammates, you're thinking, right, don't let me down. Who's going to be the player who's going to make that difference?
We're into the final minute of normal time. McLean launches it forward, looking towards Mullin. There's plenty of shirt pulling going on there between Mo Fowl and Ethan Pye. And Ethan Pye has ended up on the floor and is saying, ref, what are you doing? But it was really 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, that's for sure. Last 30 seconds of normal time. I suspect we'll be looking maybe at about 5 or 6 added minutes at the end of this game, given the number of substitutions in the second half. I think we've only seen the physio once all game, and that was for that injury to Paul Mullin a moment ago.
Yeah, it's been end-to-end, hasn't it? I think the referees tried to let the game flow. I panicked at the first 5 to 10 minutes. I thought he was going to be giving out a lot of yellow cards when we saw the 2 early ones from some Selvan Hales, and I think the first one was. And I thought, oh no, here we go. But he's actually let the game flow, albeit Wrexham is still wanting to see that extra little bit of quality in the final third, and the added time's just been shown, Adam.
Just the 4 minutes from the referee, Tom Kirk, then. Well, I think he's had a pretty good game, actually, to be fair.
He has.
He's let a lot of start. He's allowed this. I wouldn't call it. I mean, it's had the feel of a derby at times because of the grudge between these sides. Oh, that's brilliant. What a wonderful run. Chance to finish it. Oh, straight at the keeper who makes the save. That was the moment for Ola Ofe. He was through, turned his defender, got through on goal, but the shot at the end was poor.
Oh, he has to do better, Isaac Alayofe. I mean, he's came off the bench and he's been waiting for that moment to show everybody the pace that he's got. But he gets in towards the 18-yard box. I'm not quite sure. I think it was O'Connor who was just putting a little bit of pressure on him as he took the shot on. But could he have taken another touch towards goal? He just snapped at his shot, kept it low, didn't find an angle. Oh, it was a poor finish.
Yeah, it's low and straight at the keeper as opposed to maybe trying to find a corner. Horsfall's gone down. There's one a free kick for his side, midway inside their own half. We've got a minute of the 4 played here at Edgeley Park, where it remains 1-0 to Stockport County. MK Dons may have stolen it against Cheltenham Town. They lead by 3 goals to 2. Lawrence Maguire scoring for them in the 86th minute. Is there a late goal to come here? Can Wrexham get themselves a point? Or are they about to lose a 3rd league game of the season? All 3 would be on the road, and there would be a clear indication that that's what Phil Parkinson needs to sort out. And it's funny looking at the numbers, really, isn't it? Because you had Stockport, whose kind of pass accuracy was up in the air, kind of 80-odd%, and I think it was around 60-odd% for Wrexham.
Yeah.
They're quite close together now in the mid-70s, aren't they?
Yeah, you're completely right. And yeah, I touch on that XG again. 1.30 for Stockport, 0.86 for Wrexham. Has certainly gone through the roof for Wrexham, albeit they've not been able to break down Stockport. But it's opportunities like this. They've got a free kick in their own half. Nobody wants to play out from the back anymore. Just get that ball in the mixer, an old-fashioned saying, I'm sure, but going to be a yellow card here as well, I think.
Well, he's telling him to get back to where he wants it taken, and Tom O'Connor is taking his time about it, that's for sure.
Yeah, don't spoil your performance, Thomas Kirk, the referee. Just let the game flow, see it out.
90 seconds of added time to play. That's a long one launched into the box. It's not the best by O'Connor. And there are the cries as Hinchcliffe gathers it inside the penalty area.
And after all that, Adam, that's what we get at the end of it. Such a sloppy free kick. Moments, you talk about a moment which can help your side. You've got to have better quality. It was really poor. Just a long hoop forward free kick straight into the hands of Ben Hinchcliffe. And he would have absolutely loved that. No pressure on him at all. Just catch it with your hands. Take your time. See out those seconds. And hopefully get to the full-time whistle.
Bates ball in is gathered by Burton. We're in the final minute of added time at Edgeley Park. It's the 127th meeting between these sides. First happened back in 1891, and here Stockport have had the better of it recently. Are they about to add another 3 points to that tally? They've won the last 3 home clashes with Wrexham. 5-0, as we said last season. That's gone into the penalty area, and Wrexham just managed to keep possession on this left-hand side. Edge of the box, it's with Tom O'Connor again. He's got his side of throw. As we count down into the last few seconds, Wrexham on the attack. Left-hand side with a throw for O'Connor. He's going to try and go into the penalty area, which he does. He goes to the edge of the box. Waiting for it is McLean. McLean's going to try and deliver. He gets it across, which he does. It's half cleared at the edge of the penalty area. And now maybe the breaks on the far side. Adaramola, has he got the pace? Well, he's got the pace to get there first. Is he going to the corner? Yes, he is on that far side. Adaramola is applauded by the fans around us. Cuts it back nicely. Edge of the penalty area. Chance to win it maybe. Onto the left foot. February with a shot. Oh, it's tipped over the bar by Callum Burton. And there's the final whistle. It would have been a corner for Stockport County, but they don't need it. They have the victory at Edgeley Park against fellow promoted side Wrexham. And it's another win for the Hatters over the Dragons at Edgeley Park. And let the celebrations commence around this wonderful, tiny packed stadium. Over 10,000 here today, and they've enjoyed every minute of another victory against this Wrexham side. And it all came courtesy of Louis Barry's goal in the 24th minute. They dominated for the first 60 minutes or so. There's been a terrific rearguard action for the last half an hour, and then in stoppage time they almost doubled their advantage as well, but they didn't need it in the end. It's another clean sheet at home, and it's a victory that Dave Challoner will celebrate down below, and it's a third defeat of the season for Wrexham, all of which have come on the road. And Mickey Gray, who's alongside me here at Edgeley Park, I mean, it was a thoroughly absorbing encounter between two sides who, you know, it was a game that really kind of ebbed and flowed in that last half an hour, but prior to that, Stockport should have been out of sight.
Without